Assemble the accused. Bear witness to their trials. The time of the Inquisition is now at hand. Putting pop culture to the rack, the Inquisition calls to account the events of the week, rooting out heresy wherever it is found. I am Grand Inquisitor Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and joining me for tonight's torture is Nerdrotic Channel's Grand Inquisitor Gary Beekler. Gary, are you ready to dish out some punishment tonight?
So ready. So ready. There's so much punishment to dish out. Keeping our eye on the prize, taking on what I call the multi-headed hydra of the franchise apocalypse, which gets new heads every single day. But the main one is Bad Robot. It's got a giant robot head that's called Bad Reboot. Of course, I think you started that. Are you the first person who said Bad Reboot?
I don't know. I think maybe I was, but I'm not entirely sure on that. I think so.
Yeah, I have to admit that like most of my good sayings come from the chat. So,
they are brilliant. They are the best chat. Amazing.
So who do we have here? We have Sultan Al Fahim, hail to the Sultan, and Rock Flanagan, Thomas Preston, Miss Sad Song. I hate sad songs, but I love them as well. Neon Visual, Garrett Nunn, Just Some Panda. You are not just some panda to me. You are the panda. Bird of Prey 5, Kapla, The Gaming Wolf 87, SPN Dusk Realm, Thomas Preston, Mooga Man. Mooga chaka.
I can't stop. Never mind.
This feeling. Oh, I can't sing. Mary Highland, Derek McManus, Michelle P, Daniel Krantz, Wraith Rogister. I'm really bad. Mr. Scotty 301. By the by, would you have a wee bit of mustard up there on the bridge? And J.E.
They're overloading. Sorry, go ahead.
And, it's okay. It's okay. And everyone else. Greetings. So the things we have to talk, Doomcock, you can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. Doomcock did a great video this week about Kate Mulgrew. So we will be discussing that. And there seems to be a lot of that going on because there's still fallout from the MCU. There was an article that I did a video on that we're going to go over again, where they want to get rid of all those pale males, even though the woman writing it was paler than me, and I'm pretty pale. I sit here in the fog of San Francisco most of the time. And we also need to talk about something near and dear to our heart that this is probably the only time we ever talk about it, is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy television show on Hulu being run by people from Bad Robot, and the Lord of the Rings show, which I'm sure you're interested in. I am very interested in, is also run by people from Bad Robot. God damn it.
It is toast. It is toast. It is DOA. What that means is dead on arrival. That means that there is no hope that Lord of the Rings is going to be worth a squirt of warm piss in August. It is just, I'm telling you people, it's going to be hell. Absolute hell.
Absolute hell. And I'm going to show you pictures. There was a trailer that came out that shows everybody involved. I have all the screenshots ready to show you just how involved Bad Reboot is in this production. Oh, and they also asked Dan and Dave for help just to make things worse. It's great. Oh my God.
Out of the frying pan into the shit, into the flaming shit.
Into the flaming shit. And the thing is, sorry, I gotta mess with my things here to get the screens going back and forth.
This is your things.
Messing with my thing in public. Yes,
I
have two. I have two dongs and two exits. I guess. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, I guess we could start with Lord of the Rings. Let me get these pictures up here, and it's astonishing.
I hate Bad. Let me just say, I hate Bad Robot with a burning passion of 10 billion exploding galaxies chock full of TNT. Bad Reboot is the source of damn near all the poison in Hollywood. And my hatred of them springs from Lost. which we are going to go ahead and I guess talk about later. But I consider Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof to be untouchables. I absolutely despise them. I despise them, Gary. And when we talk about this damn Hitchhiker's Guide, I've told you I'm not going to watch it. I'm not even going to watch it to review it. If we talk about it on the channel, then you can go ahead and put in your bit about it if you're going to watch it, and I will just spew hatred for Bad Robot, Carlton Cuse, and Damon Lindelof. I will have plenty to say.
I think I'm with you on this one. Hitchhiker is absolutely sacred to me. It was a beautiful thing. It was a year ago, almost to a year and a month ago today, that the original radio crew got back together to do the final radio show for BBC Four. I think they did Mostly Harmless, or maybe they did some of Sam on a Doubt. I can't remember now, but they got back together, and next year will be, I think, the 42nd anniversary of Hitchhiker, which is a big deal. To me.
Yes.
It's my favorite book, my favorite author. It was defining for me. I've read it. I can't even count how many times I read it. I remember reading it for the first time in school and laughing. It was the first book that made me laugh out loud in the class and got in trouble. And it's a beautiful book through and through. And the radio show is maybe my favorite thing in the world. I own cassette copies of it and vinyl copies of it and the CDs and everything imaginable. I have first printing signed books by Douglas Adams. Never met the guy, although he gave back in the 90s. He was living in Santa Barbara. He was doing lectures at the University of Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara. I could have gone and watched him anytime, and I didn't.
Oh man, that sucks. That hurts.
So this is from, these are screen grabs from Charlie at Emergency Awesome did a video. I really like Emergency Awesome. Always have. I've just dig, he's very plain and informational, and he's a good YouTuber. He does good stuff. His information is great. So he did a Lord of the Rings video where he gives some background on Sauron, and he shows that great scene that was taken out of Lord of the Rings where you see Sauron's the form he took to fool the elves, and it was cool. It was cool. So here are all the people involved. Let me get back that are involved in Lord of the Rings. Okay, so J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, showrunners. They were supposed to write and direct the 4th Star Trek film that was going to have Kirk meeting his dad, Chris Hemsworth. They couldn't get the funding for it. Midnight's Edge has reported on this. I'm sure you have as well. That's your first Bad Robot connection, is these guys who are the showrunners. Now, they did ask Dan and Dave for help. They are assisting, according to Esquire and Deadline, that they're assisting with financing and to help get it off the ground. So we got these people right here. So here's some of the writing staff. Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, 13 Reasons Why, and Hannibal. That's the first thing I think of when I think of Lord of the Rings. There are people out there who worked on the film. And let's not forget there were 2 women who wrote the scripts for the original, for the trilogy, for all of those who think that women weren't allowed to work in Hollywood up until the last couple of years. Philippa Boyens came.
Lisa, was it Lisa Noy? Who was it? Lisa Noyen, something like that.
It was Philippa Boyens and I can't remember the other one now. Philippa Boyens and I'll look it up, but it was 2 women with Peter Jackson, and they did the lion's share of the writing, by the way. And they came in. Philippa Boyens came in my comic store one time, which was that was great. She and Peter Jackson bought Why the Last Man, my complete run. So Jennifer Hutchinson and Helen Shang. But it gets worse. So we got writers. We have Jason Cahill, who worked on *Halt and Catch Fire*, *The Sopranos*, ER. Then we have Justin Doble, who worked on *Fringe*, *Stranger Things* and *Fringe*. Oh, and don't worry, there's more. We had Stephanie Folsom, who writes for Star Trek Resistance and Toy Story 4. Bryan Cogman from Game of Thrones. If this was the worst guy you can get from Game of Thrones, to be honest with you, it's him. Some of his were the worst episodes. Sorry to say. Then we have J.A. Boyana, director of episodes. He did Jurassic Park. He has no involvement. Then we have Belen Etudza. I don't know. She worked on Jurassic World as well. Then we have Bruce Richmond, producer, who worked on The Leftovers and Westworld.
Oh! And Game of Thrones, which went tragically wrong.
Yes. And Gene Kelly, not the singing, dancing one, who worked on Westworld. Lindsay Weber, who worked on Star Trek Beyond and 10 Cloverfield Lane. Then we have this bloke who worked on Star Trek Into Darkness.
One of the worst things ever filmed, Star Trek Into Darkness. Jesus Christ. It was so bad, it might as well have just be literally the pilot for STD.
Now, the only person they should have gotten from Game of Thrones was the costume designer Michelle Clapton, maybe. I think her name was. This is Crimson Peak, Edge of Tomorrow, which I liked. Suicide Squad, which I did not like. Rich Henricks, who worked on Sleepy Hollow, which is which is Alex Kurtzman production, by the way, and Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Jason Smith, visual effects, Super 8. Okay, now this guy's legit. Okay, Tom Shipney is the Tolkien. He's what is he called? A Tolkien scholar, and that is the greatest Gandalf thing I've ever seen. I want to break into his house and take that. No, I wouldn't do that. John Howe. Okay, this is the one guy you actually needed to be on the show. This guy was the production designer, did all the designs for the act. Here's the one guy they got from the film. The one guy. Now he's an important guy, but did you see? I mean, there was just filled with bad robot people.
Just like the rest of Hollywood, dude. I mean, this is a plague. This is a plague on Hollywood, and it is the franchise killer.
Every time. I'm still waiting for a classic bad robot film or television series, something that will be remembered in 10 years. It's all very disposable. It's all very shiny. It's all very trendy, and it uses other people's work quite a bit, in my opinion. We could certainly, I think we have to talk about, because we haven't talked about it here. We need to talk about Star Trek Picard and the Bryan Fuller connection.
That is just painful. I don't know what his recourse is, but the fact is that the people that have been creating Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard appear to be very, very comfortable with taking ideas that they did not generate. Now that seems to be, I mean, that'll be litigated, but Anas Abdeen with his blue tardigrade, that looks bad as hell. And now basically, Fuller wrote this treatment and registered it with the Writers Guild of America, and it is indisputable that this exists. This is actually fact. This is not rumor, Dreckies. He basically created the scenario of what is Star Trek Picard. And under the guild rules, it seems like he should at least be accorded a co-creator credit, but doesn't look that way.
No, it certainly does not. And again, to the Dreckies, like you just said, that is not a rumor. That is from the very respectable Robert Meyer Burnett. Now, that's somebody who I like. I don't agree with them on a lot of stuff, but I was very sorry not to be able to meet up with him at Comic-Con, but we were both pretty busy. But we will someday. We'll get him on a live stream someday and talk all things Star Trek. But I loved when he dropped that. Like right when they were celebrating all the Star Trek stuff, and this bomb just drops, and not a single person in the Access Media reports on it. Not one. And
how funny.
Isn't it funny? Because that's a pretty big story. You think you'd want some clicks from that. And the thing is, you would get clicks from that. You would get a lot of clicks from that, and they don't report it. Huh. Well, not surprised.
It's very funny. Very funny how shill media is echoing everything they want to said, and when something comes up that's inconvenient, well, they have suddenly nothing to say.
Nothing to
It's
say
such a
about
thing.
a human being who wept. I mean, he's listen. Bryan Fuller's an artist. Okay, so I can
Yeah.
understand this. You see something you worked on, and probably a pitch that they told him nah or screw off or
Mm-hmm.
shine him on,
Mm-hmm.
and then they use it and don't name him. Yeah, that's gotta be soul crushing, even for somebody as successful as Bryan Fuller, because he's still a human being, by the way. All this talk of empathy in Star Trek Discovery season 2 because Alex Kurtzman discovered the word in therapy.
Yeah, right. It's kind of funny how CBS has a way of having that happen. Yeah, I mean, it's just like J. Michael Straczynski when he pitched Babylon 5 to Paramount, and then voila, they came up with Deep Space Nine.
Oh yeah, they got
Funny.
it's called Priors. It's called Priors, and that's the biggest thing. Is it's going to be very interesting at the Star Trek convention because I wonder what else they have to announce. Maybe some more animated series, maybe some more short treks. I don't know. I got to get with I got to get with my shirt people, so I make sure I have my Justice for a Notch shirt ready. I'm going in 2 short days. But this Bryan Fuller thing, it's just as you said, they might have every right to use the story, but it lays out more evidence that they are willing to do that kind of thing. And I hope this helps Anas in some way, shape, or form. He's definitely aware of it. His comment was interesting. That was it. It was interesting. I touch base with Anas once in a while, just through DMs, and very nice guy, very really like real dude, and ballsy guy, really ballsy guy. So I hope he gets a settlement, gets a lot of money someday. I really do. I hope to, especially since Eagle Moss put out a tardigrade toy that it's not blue for some reason though.
That's interesting. Yeah.
What are they going to say? Like the blue was from the reflection from the light of the Discovery or something? Is that how it all of a sudden went from blue to brown?
I think it was all the viewers who were feeling depressed watching this shit, and so light bounced off of them, and it got blue because they were blue. That's my feeling.
I'm feeling blue. I was feeling blue. I saw Red Letter Media's little Star Trek Picard thing, and I couldn't agree with them more on that one. They did a great Star Trek 2 review, and they did a piece on Picard, and it's nice to hear other people chiming in on what we've been talking about for quite some time now. And it's always good to have allies in the battle to try to win back Star Trek, but it's broken. As I put it in the title, it is broken when it has to resort continually, in my opinion, to borrowing other people's work, using tired tropes, centering Picard around the most important girl in the world and the universe. She's the destroyer of all things and the creator of love and greatness.
Oh yeah, and she weighs 100 pounds soaking wet, and she's kicking the asses of big armored sumo wrestlers on that staircase or whatever. I mean, it's just so goddamn stupid. So basically, they not only ripped off, Bryan Fuller's treatment, but they also ripped off Star Trek Renegades, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And God knows, who knows? Maybe a tardigrade will appear somewhere, or something like that. What else are they going to rip off? Some guy with a helmet that lifts a hammer and can aim lightning with it. Maybe. Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
That'll be next. That'll be next. As they stated in the Red Letter Media video, that the Picard show does look a little Firefly. It looks a little Logan, and it looks a little Fifth Element. I thought that was a very astute. That's kind of the vibe. I said Logan. I thought it looked very Logan, and also I'll mix in Stranger Things. They got their 11. She'll be government created, and she'll be able to. God knows they'll probably find a way. They even mentioned it in an article. They will find a way to connect that. And I think you've said that too, to Star Trek Discovery. They will connect Star Trek Discovery to Picard just to taint it even more.
Sure.
Without a doubt. Let's get to a couple super chats here. We'll go back and forth through the chat and stuff. Armchair Warlord is here for $2. So much of Hollywood these days is bad fan fiction. It really is. Fan fiction is starting to look better. It is. Preston Jacobs released a video where he kind of rewrote season 8. While it wasn't as good as yours, Doomcock has a video, by the way. I want to plug it right now, where you kind of fix season 8 as best as you can given the circumstances. It was decent though. Like there's people out there just doing better work, but definitely check out Doomcock's video. I like it a lot.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
I would have watched that.
Man, that is the ending in my mind. That's the coolest thing, is that I wrote that largely for myself. And now, I mean, the imagery is so strong in my mind, Gary, that when I think of I can't even honestly picture what actually happened. I mean, it's so strong in my mind. I see the shots. I can't see it like I'm watching it in motion, but I see like photographic stills in my mind of these moments. And I see little snippets in motion. It's just so it saves it for me, but I'll never watch the goddamn thing again.
Oh, I mean, God, no. I get on OCD kicks. I mean, you know, I'm sure what my son has, maybe he gets a little bit from me. I'll be freely admit it. Like I'll get I'll get into something and I just like, I'm into it. Like I'm watching it all the time and it's just, it's sometimes it's bad, but I've been able to focus it. That's why the comic shop helped in this channel. But I've been watching a lot of Lord of the Rings and listening to the BBC audio drama. And I was like watching the end of Return of the King. And I'm like, how could I ever have thought that Game of Thrones was even close to as good as Lord of the Rings? I was an idiot, because there was a time in seasons, 1 through 3, I'm like, God, this could be better. This could be better. Whoa, what a freaking moron I was.
I know you weren't a moron. I felt the same way. I mean, because, they had more time to develop the characters, and in the first, four seasons or something, I mean, the character development was brilliant. It was epic. And I will always take over. I will take character development and strong narrative over spectacle. And so for a while there, I think it was a reasonable thing. And then we clung to it, even as the thing went worse and worse, and we drifted farther and farther away from that golden land that we had glimpsed of possibility. And we're clinging to that driftwood for dear life as we drift farther and farther away, until finally we realize, fuck, this is this is going down, and break away and start swimming for another shore.
Yep. And it shifted to where, well, at least the spectacle's good. And then when the spectacle stopped being good, well, there it went. I got a question for you. I've never asked you this question. I hate to do it publicly, but when did you lose your virginity? No. So do you like, or maybe you don't, do you prefer Star Trek or Star Wars? If you had a giant cannon to your head, which would you pick?
I would say probably Star Trek, because there's more of it. Star Wars, essentially, we basically got 3 movies, so around 7 hours of really good Star Wars. Whereas we have, hundreds of hours of, between all the series, hundreds of hours of really, really quality entertainment. So mathematically speaking, I would have to go with Star Trek. Plus, the characterization in Star Trek with Kirk and Spock and McCoy, the thoughtfulness of it. I always will opt for, personally, drama and characterization and thoughtfulness over spectacle. But that said, man, I don't think anything hit me harder than Star Wars when I first saw it. I mean, it blew me absolutely away. And I listen, I have equal parts in my house, in my lair, Star Wars and Star Trek toys and figures. I'm very passionate about both. But if you put a gun to my head, then I'd have to pick Star Trek. Probably.
Yeah, I think right now it would still be Star Trek. If you asked me when I was a kid, it would be Star Wars all the way.
Yeah. For a while, I drifted away.
Yeah, but now, like, for over the years, it's Star Trek. It's But every girl I haven't dated like hundreds of girls. I've always been kind of a serial monogamous, but every girl I have dated has loved Star Trek. I guess that's kind of a thing that has to be part of it. So yeah, Mrs. Nerdrotic loves it probably more than I do, and I love it a lot. But I would call her a Trekker, like hardcore. She's she might cosplay this weekend. It'd be kind of fun.
Cool.
And like old school, the kind you can't do anymore. Mr. T for $5. Love the channel. Love you too, Mr. T. About Star Wars. Will they kill Lando in Star Wars Movie 9? I like it. Movie 9. That's what I want to call it. And who is your favorite Orville character? I love Yaphet. LOL. Yaphet's great. Yaphet is the reason the Orville is so vastly superior to Star Trek Discovery, because you have a ball of snot with more personality that you care about than anything in Star Trek Discovery. Like, I was worried for Yaphet in Identity when he was on that.
Yeah,
that was so cool. So Seth MacFarlane, if Seth MacFarlane was running Star Trek, everybody would love Star Trek right now. It would be one of the most popular shows on TV. But CBS decided to go with an idiot. So, in my opinion,
no, I agree.
What do you think? And Star Wars, will they kill Lando? Doomcock, will they kill? They won't kill Lando.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I really wouldn't. Look, he's only going to be a glorified cameo because he may not be white, but he's still male. Therefore, he's still toxic. He's still of the original trilogy. Anybody from the original trilogy towers over these little nothings that they have, these little character shells masquerading as real characters. Finn and Poe and Rey and Kylo. Who gives a fuck about any of those people? Honestly, what can you tell me about those people that isn't just a description of their function in the story? I mean, you know what I mean? Like anything personally about them, anything compelling, really. Not a goddamn thing. And Lando, I mean, you can say, well, he was the director of, Cloud City, sure, on Bespin, but he was also a womanizer. He was also a rake. He was somewhat shady, worked on the different side of the law. I mean, there's a lot you could say about Lando, much more than you can say about these nothings, these phony plasticine versions of the Star Wars characters. So hell, he has to fucking die. He has to die.
Yeah. No, he is the epitome of male. I mean, like, and all the good ways, I think. I remember when I was watching Empire for the first time, how upset I was that he betrayed Han Solo. I remember being pissed.
Man.
I was because I liked it. I was like, oh, how could you do that to Han?
I know it.
I was like, 10.
That was great.
Yes, it was great. Michael Maloney for $10. Cats on top of everything else out in media. It looks like they have cast Dame Judith Dench as old Deuteronomy, a white woman in a role normally given to black male actors. Oh, really? I know nothing about Cats. I just know that I watched Jeremy's reaction of the trailer, and it was the stuff of nightmares. It was the stuff. I'm like, who's going to watch this? And then Jeremy's reaction is pretty funny in that video, by the way. He just laughs through the whole thing. I don't understand. Listen, I'm not a fan of musical theater. I'm just not. I like the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Tommy. I love the Tommy musical. I thought that was brilliant.
I am a fan of musical theater, Gary, but I'm not a fan of Cats terribly. I don't like dance. Okay. I mean, I love musicals. I have acted and I sing. So of course I like musicals.
Yep.
The thing that keeps me heterosexual and proud of it is that I don't like dance. If I then liked musicals and dance, well, I would be a little concerned, but no. I can't stand dance. And so a movie with guys going meow and kind of stretching and doing, jazz hands and shit. I can't get into that. Give me an old fashioned, romantic with a guy singing to a girl and I'm there. I'm all over it. I have a romantic streak in my soul, but no, not Cats. Oh.
Cats looks like furry Illuminati eyes wide shut stuff to me, like really kind of weird and Yeah, I'm not really into it at all. But Tommy was good. I saw Tommy at the La Jolla Playhouse when Pete Townsend was trying it out before putting it out on Broadway, and he would do practice runs at the La Jolla Playhouse in San Diego. It was really good. Got to see Pete Townsend like on the stage once in a while. That was cool. I also like Wicked because there's a green woman in it. So
I love green women.
Yeah.
God almighty, I love green women. I love redheads. So I guess I'm color coordinated in my lust. You know, I'm consistent. Well, if she can't be green, she can have red hair. You know,
there you go.
All together.
Lori Roberts is here with $5. Thank you, Lori. It's so good to see you. So happy Orange is the New Black went out on a high note. Have a great show, Gary and DC. Hi, Harvey. She says hi, Harvey.
Hello there. I'm Harvey Cthulhu, and I just wanted to say hello to Lori Roberts and say I liked the music from Cats, or at least the song. You know, that one. If you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. I think I'm adapting that to if you push my button, you'll understand what happiness is. TM. So push the button. Back to you, Chet and Chet.
Chet and Chet. That's what we should change our show to. Chet and Chet.
Okay.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Chet and Chet. Hey, and we should do the whole show like this.
Time for the Inquisition, everybody, putting pop culture on trial.
Hey, what are we going to do today with our thumb screws?
Well, we're going to use them on Alex Kurtzman, but not his fingers, not his thumbs.
On his nose?
Well, he doesn't have one of those, so we might have to use it on his toes.
Jar Jar has enough nose for both of them.
He really does. That's a pickle nose right there. So thank you, Lori. I'm glad it went out. I've never seen it. Even though like I'm all about the women prison thing, but no, I have no idea what happened.
But it really didn't have the hot, caged heat kind of women in prison, Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS that I really need.
She-Wolf.
Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS is so hot. Man, that was good stuff back then. That was good stuff.
They just don't make them like that anymore. They literally don't.
I wish they did. Maybe I will. Maybe I will like crowdfund a horrible exploitation movie with nudity, male toxicity, and just make it as reprehensibly fun as possible. Maybe I'll crowdfund that.
You need to do that.
I'd be the guy to do that.
Needs to happen.
I think I'm going to do that, guys. I think I'm going to do that.
I think we need Doomcock Productions.
Doomcock Productions will be toxic grindhouse shit, but I will write it so it will be funny as hell, along with delivering nudity and extreme violence.
It's like Trauma, but actually good.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, good.
Exactly.
Daniel for $10, a controversial charge, but we fans are largely at fault for today's calamity. We are the fuel used to bring IPs back to life because we can't let go. Star Trek should have ended with Roddenberry. I don't think that's a controversial charge. I think I'll say there was a time we bared some responsibility but it's not really our fault because we didn't think it would get this bad. I mean, like you can't fight your nostalgia. I can't fight nostalgia. I mean, but you're not wrong, Daniel. You're not wrong, but I think it's more like once we've woken up to this, we have to say enough is enough. And then it's the people who just want, it says Star Trek, so I'm going to defend it with my life because my identity is wrapped in this, and then calling people like myself and Doomcock not fans. Which is, are you kidding me? I mean, look at my room. I'm not a poser. I don't just buy this crap. I bought each one of these things individually. I didn't buy these in lots. Are you kidding me? It's crazy.
My whole lair is full of a lifetime obsession with these pop culture properties. I mean, every damn surface is covered with toys and robots and Godzillas and superheroes, Batman, Spider-Man, Star Wars, Star Trek. I've got some Babylon 5 micro machines, those micro machines where they put out the Star Trek, Star Wars. I've actually got the Babylon 5 ones, got some Alien ones. Look, you guys are the phonies. You guys are the idiots, the Dreckies, and the Johnny come latelys to the thing. And you think that you owned it. It's because these goddamn millennials think that they invented everything. They think that if they don't know something, it's not worth knowing. That is their goddamn philosophy, and that is why they remain painfully but ignorant,
painfully
and obnoxious.
Speaking of obnoxious, I'm going to do 2 more super chats and then we're going to get to the article. I did a video on it, but I would love to get your take on this article because I mean it was written to troll, but it's basically somebody has become the authority of the MCU because she wrote a play about supervillains.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I bow to her authority, but let's get a couple of these. JS 499. James Bond is a Time Lord, and he has been regenerated into Bonds, and now has generated into Jodie Bond. Jodie Bond. Though that's what we're going to get with the first female 007, which they're not going to kill her, folks. I know there's a lot of theories out there that they're going to kill her, but she is black and female. They will not kill a black female unless it's James Bond doing it himself, maybe in a bad way. But it sounds like he's going to be it sounds like what it is. It's going to be more of the same. He's going to be a second fiddle, or just or they're going to make James Bond look bad. And yeah, she's going to deny his advances. I mean, it's like,
yeah, right. Exactly. That's wonderful. Let's just go ahead and deconstruct everything that makes Bond. Let's go ahead and make, the women resist him. They show him up. He gets like waylaid and he's, confined to his couch with a broken leg or a broken hip or something. Hell, let's go ahead and have some kids play on his lawn and have him yell at them while she goes ahead and saves the world. It's just, fuck. It is a fantasy. It is a male fantasy. It is a charming retrograde throwback to the Cold War. And it is just a thing that is just a boys only club. And, there's nothing wrong with that. Why can't boys have a club too? Does every single thing have to represent political points about women? I don't think so. I think you ought to leave men just their own little corner, their own little smoky, whiskey-scented drawing room corner where they can gather and be men. And taking that away from men is goddamn it is just vindictive. It is not about equality. It is about revenge. It is about punishing the perceived patriarchy and for past, reparations for, I don't know, slavery or Rosa Parks. I don't know, all the shit that I had nothing to do with because I wasn't alive. Jesus.
Battling this straw person, we'll just say, that doesn't exist. And it's really it's obvious, and that's what one of these things, this article really comes out and admits. It absolutely admits. Hang on a second. Here, I'll just I'm going to read another super chat and then I'll get it pulled up. So we have Orville Nation. You guys are such a treat on Sunday nights. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Orville Nation.
Absolutely.
We love the Orville Nation.
Absolutely, we do.
Independent. There it is. I thought I bookmarked it, but I didn't. But it's okay because it's pretty easy to find. There it is. We will now present this. Again, I've done a video on it, but we have Doomcock here, and there we go. Let's it's hilarious. So her geek cred is she's written a play. Now I went over her Twitter. I went over it in the video, but I went over it thoroughly to find like her posting about Marvel or DC comics in particular. No, I think her knowledge is she's watched the last 3 or 4 MCU films, and now we've got a female Thor. Oh Jesus, what did it do? What did it just do there? There we go. Now we got a female Thor. This is covering up for some reason. I can close that. Let's topple every male, pale, and stale superhero character we can. Stealing a few spots from original characters at the front of the box office race is not only positive, but absolutely necessary. It's underrepresented actors, or if underrepresented actors are to have a fighting chance, because Captain America, we're talking 3 heroes, by the way. Captain America and Thor and Iron Man. 2 are dead now. So they took the last remaining one of the Trinity of the MCU. So because there's no other Marvel characters and they're all white and male, like there's no female characters. Maybe she didn't pay attention to Marvel Phase 4. I'm not really sure. But it's vindictive, like you said, and it comes out in this article. She basically, there's one statement we'll get to where it just shows how much superhero movies are important. That's not an opinion. It's just true. Doomcock is just true. Which
Good. I'm glad you're here to tell us these things. Chewie, take the professor in the back and plug her into the fucking hyperdrive.
Yeah, L337. So she talks about how much Avengers Endgame has made. It now has surpassed Avatar, which is, I'm glad. I'm not a fan of Avatar. And then they announced the female Thor, and she's all yay. And then she tries to question Norse mythology, which there's orgies in Norse mythology. It's ostensibly more reasonable complaints like, I don't mind female POC or LGB characters, but why can't they make their own? That nettles me, because make no mistake, we are. Then she plugs her play for some reason. Hastening my point, highlighting my point exactly. How does plugging your play highlight your point? That you created new characters? Okay, great. They have to be successful. Original characters, even the ones created by behemoths like Marvel and DC, have nothing like the traction of old favorites, meaning we're starting the race seconds before the big boys cross the finish line. Stealing a few of their spots at front is not only positive, but absolutely necessary. Quite apart from anything else, it genuinely makes art better and bigger. So replacing male characters makes art better. So what you're doing is you're admitting to a bait and switch. So you're just assuming comic fans are just going to sit here and we have data. We have actual data showing that this doesn't work at all. It actually crumbles the industry, which comic books are going through right now. So it's unbelievable. But I want to get to the main part where just a bit looks like it says the films. Was it her? So yes, let's plunder the male heroes, and Thor is an excellent place to start. That's a simple mechanism by which someone else can gain the powers. Blah blah blah. But finally, this is a chance for a character, ironically, to step out of the shadow, and that's should be a call to arms for the rest of us in front and behind the camera. Women directors are few and far between and are only starting to helm blockbuster films without a single female lead. We're stepping out of the shadows, and if we can step on our male predecessors along the way, all the better.
Yep.
All the better.
Yep. Basically, this is a man-hating fucking I'm angry.
Okay. Let it go.
I'm thinking the B word. I'm thinking the C word. This is a man hater. This is somebody who is just trying to punish men. Oh, because you know what? She wrote a play about some supervillains that did nothing. And of course it's because all these other artists started first. The boys got a head start. It's not because maybe your material wasn't that strong. Why isn't it optioned? Why isn't it out there? You don't think that they can go ahead and get something out there that is quality? If you're so goddamn convinced that your vision is so great, they are just trying to take away established characters and forcibly sex change them. Take away their choice, metaphorically, and force them into sex change, force propaganda down their throat, because what you won't find in that fucking article is a shred of artistic justification for that choice. Not a shred of narrative integrity, not a shred of dignity in terms of actually making a better story. They don't care about making a better story. What they want to fucking do is go ahead and turn it into propaganda. They are just taking, oh boy, yay, let's go ahead and take things away from the boys. It's propaganda. That's all it is. It's just soulless political mechanization and commercialization of something. And I made a video, Gary, about why this shit is so terrible. I made a couple of videos about this. But The Little Mermaid, okay? The Little Mermaid. When you go ahead and experience a character like the Little Mermaid, you have basically 2 hours to get to know that character. That's it. That character then lives in your mind. It is not like a person, Gary, where you can go ahead and your mom or your friend or your sister can change their hair. Hell, your sister can go ahead and get a sex change, or your brother can get a sex change, and you're still going to love them and treat them as people because they're multidimensional. They are not merely their skin or their appearance, but for a character that only has 2 hours of life, 2 hours with which to acquaint you to them, to acquaint themselves with you, and to live thereafter in your mind. When you change something as fundamental as their sex or their color, then you have basically taken that thought where that character lives and you have ripped it out and replaced it with another thought, and therefore that character is dead. It is killing these characters. It is killing our mythology. Do you understand? You understand, of course. I'm just saying that it is not just taking a story and just putting a little spin on it, a little skew like new fucking Coke. God damn it. It is killing Ariel. It is killing Thor. And it is also polluting the continuity of Ariel and Thor and all these other characters with your kids and your grandkids as you go on, where you won't even be able to fucking converse with them about the goodness of these things because, oh, well, Ariel's black, isn't she? James Bond, well, is a woman, right? 007 is a woman. Because a lot of these people, their first exposure to this crap will be these perverted, twisted remakes. I'm sorry. It just, God damn it.
No, it shows how
it drives me insane.
Yeah, it exposes that, Hollywood's superficial, but it's superficial. Okay, they want to make all these changes. Well, then, yeah, create new characters, build them from the ground up, show a commitment. You know what? Give them, you want to create like a black female spy? Do it. You know what? Sign her for 3 movies, commit to those 3 movies, build the character from scratch, make everybody like her. Boom. There you have your new franchise, but they don't really believe in it that much. So they take something away and it stops being that thing. I'm sorry. Jodie Whittaker is not the Doctor. Sorry. No. She's not the Doctor. This is a gimmick Doctor Who that's not going to work, and it's going to be remembered very poorly in the future. I'm sure there's going to be the few people out there with so groundbreaking and all the male tears that it killed the franchise, but it was so groundbreaking. Okay, great. It killed the franchise. It didn't work. It didn't work. If it works, everybody or the vast majority of people love it. That's hard to say. So it didn't work. And the MCU is just clearly out of ideas, and they're also caught up in the web of their own agenda and politics. So they know they're costing themselves money. They have no Avengers announcements. They didn't mention Guardians of the Galaxy that I know of in the Phase 4 announcement. They just announced stuff we already knew with the TV shows and some movies that are I question if they're going to be billion-dollar movies. And you know what? The investors are going to go, why isn't every Marvel movie a billion-dollar movie now? Because Captain Marvel set it pretty high. And the thing is, the investors are not going to differentiate between Endgame and Captain Marvel. They're just going to go, why wasn't that a billion-dollar movie? Why didn't you deliver us another
Right.
$1 billion movie? Because they're supposed to be all $1 billion movies now. And, it looks like Spider-Man, hit $1 billion too. So that just makes it even higher, and it has to keep doing better. They can't, unfortunately, that's the way it is when you have a giant corporation that has investors and stockholders, this giant mouth that you have to feed all the time, and they can't have resets, or it can't even like do just as good as it did last year. It has to do better. And it's going to be a big problem for our franchises. They're not going to exist, and they're playing these goddamn games. They're playing these games, and it's going to fail. And we are trying to warn them, and we get attacked. So fine. I mean, there's a point where I just, I get pissed, and then I'm just going to eat some popcorn and watch it fall. It will. It will. And people think we're crazy for saying that right now. Talk to me in a couple of years. When you know what?
I think you're right.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. Remember, Warner Brothers was on top of the world 10 years ago. They were the biggest studio. They had Chris Nolan's Batman. They had Harry Potter. Disney was in their shadow. So in the last 10 years, Disney buys a couple of big franchises and pumps a bunch of money into them. Has this big streaming service. Did you see the what they're going to launch with?
No.
Oh my God, it's nothing. It's nothing. Now they must be adding to it, but there's 5 Marvel movies they're going to launch with. Of course, Captain Marvel is one of them. I'm going off my memory here. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 3, Thor: Dark World, and oh God, was it Hulk? Maybe no Avengers movies, nothing. That's the 5 movies. Now they're obviously going to add to it, but that's going to be their soft launch. I think they only have like 100 movies from their back catalog, and they're all like B-C list Disney movies. And yeah, it's going to be cheap at first. And it's going to be an add-on to Hulu, by the way. So D+ will be an add-on to Hulu. So,
oh boy, I guess I won't be taking that. I won't be adding that onto Hulu. The only reason I'm going to keep Hulu, actually, they've been raising their prices. The only reason now is the Orville.
Oh yeah,
straight up.
Absolutely. And Adam Child, I'm going to answer your super chat right now for $1.99. Also, I hope you got my Orville video I made. Yeah, if you send it to Gary@nerdrotic.com, I got it. So I'm working on an Orville video where it's going to be some YouTubers, some fans. It's kind of a compilation to kind of show like what a good fandom is. And hopefully it works. Hopefully I can, it's been a while, the editing for my videos is really basic. I haven't had to build a narrative in a long time. So hopefully I can still do that. But yeah, dude, that was great passion right there. It was great passion. It's fucked up what they're doing. And then the people laughing at it and the people, drinking their male tears cups, they don't give a shit about any of this. They don't. They just wanted to take something away, and we destroyed it. Great. Bye-bye. Off to the next thing to destroy. Where's Lord of the Rings? It's like, God.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't care. They have they're cultural vandals. They don't give a shit.
Yep.
They're probably not even going to go see it. As they trumpet it, they're not going to go see it. They don't care. They're not fans. They have no passion. They have no souls.
Yeah.
They're cultural
vampires. Yeah.
Or vampires. Yeah.
Yeah. The Price is Right review for $2. Kapla, my man. Never stop being awesome, bro. We will not. We will try not to. Anyway. Thank you.
Hell no. We're going to be awesome every Sunday night, Gary.
Yes.
Every Sunday night.
6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And what is it? 8 p.m. Central? 8 p.m. Central. That's right.
Yeah. 8 p.m. Central.
I get my hours mixed up. Is it well, obviously it's
Oh, me too.
There's some states that don't fall back, right? Or spring forward. I can't remember. I know Arizona.
Are there?
Hawaii.
I wish Texas wouldn't, because it's just ridiculous. I hate that shit. I hate it.
There was a movement here in California to get rid of it. We're not farming that much anymore, so I don't know how much we actually need it. But
well, the farmers can fucking adjust their clocks. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's dumb. Thank you. The Price Right reviews. Kilroy was here for $2. If I'm right, DC got bad reboot from his live chat. Maybe. Yeah. I get a lot of stuff from the chat. I do. Crazy Pineapple for $5. If making a She-Thor, at least cast someone believable like Gwendolyn Christie or Ronda Rousey. Thor's hammer is bigger than Natalie Portman. Yes. Yeah,
Yes, it was ridiculous.
it's silly. And they're gonna like she's supposedly gonna yoke up, but they're gonna like just digitize the hell out of it. It's gonna look when Princess Leia went all Mary Poppins, it's going to be an entire movie of that. It's going to be laughably funny. Now Taika Waititi's a talented director. Hopefully he can, do something with it, but it's going to be dumb. And it's a long way off. The movie's a long way off. So it could change.
I don't think so. They don't ever reverse. I think it's going to be a disgrace. And she doesn't even, she's doing it because of contracts or something. I don't know. She didn't look like somebody who was all fired up to do this goddamn thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be silly. Yeah. She did not look into it at all. She was kind of grimacing a little bit and, that was, they just must have really, held her down by a contract or something. Illuminati for $2. DC thoughts on Amazon canceling Patriot?
Oh, God damn it. They did? I didn't know that.
Let me see.
Oh, God damn it. What are my thoughts on Amazon canceling Patriot? Well, Patriot was one of the best goddamn shows on TV. Just straight up. I have mentioned it repeatedly. And I found it charming. I found it engaging. I found it actually quite moving. It is a offbeat, very original, very well written, acted comedy, drama, action thing about a guy who's like a reluctant spy whose dad is a spy master, Kerry O'Quinn. He's kind of fallen into this, family thing. It is outrageous. It is brilliant. And the last episode was so goddamn moving. It was one of those things that it didn't actually make you cry, but literally for like hours afterwards, I was just,
that sucks. Sorry.
In a way, I can't describe it. It's like melancholy, but it's bittersweet because it was a wonderful ending, I guess, to the series if they weren't going to do any more, but it's stupid. It's stupid that they didn't. And you've got crap. God almighty.
Like freaking Star Trek Discovery continues and we have no counterparts gone. The Tick is
Counterpart was great. The Counterpart was great. Yep. Thank God they explained it though. They explained what happened. They cleared it up and it made sense and it was well done. I can at least now I can actually watch Counterpart again and have an ending. It did have a pretty good ending for, where they had to leave it. I think so.
Yeah. Like considering that they got it, the decision last minute.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to share a picture here. I got to make sure I do this right real quick.
But people watch Patriot, watch the 2 seasons of Patriot. You will find it richly rewarding. Believe me. Hear me now, believe me later. It is one of the best goddamn shows that has been on television. God, I can't believe it.
That sucks. That sucks. So yeah, that's it. That's his thoughts. He said Hulu. I don't think Hulu will pick up anything that if Amazon, if shows get canceled by the big two, by Amazon and Netflix, they are not getting picked up. There's no hope. The only hope that a show has if it gets canceled off one of the dumb cable networks, then it might get scooped up. But the end destination is Amazon and Netflix and maybe Hulu, maybe. But that's Disney now, so I think it's off the table. I think Netflix and Amazon are still in that phase where they are willing to produce anything. But Amazon now, the reason they canceled those shows is Lord of the Rings. It's 100% Lord of the Rings. This is going to be the most ambitious show ever made. Like it's the most expensive show ever made, most ambitious, and it could be the biggest flop of all time. So we shall see. You know what? I hope against hope that it's good, but Yeah. Tech Guy for $5. Think Crisis on Infinite Earths is the way DC can unify their universe and allow cool multi-show Superman from TV movies to be on screen at the same time, not on the CW. Tech Guy. I have zero faith in the CW. If they build to that, if they have a movie universe that doesn't involve J.J. Abrams that builds to that, that would be great to see. I would love to see that. But I mean, I'll probably tune in because I want to see Brandon Routh as Superman, and I want to see Superman on screen again, but it's going to be a CW Superman. So he'll be, Lois. I remember the last crossover, and the minute I tuned in, Lois Lane was complaining to Clark Kent about the wage gap. I'm like, oh, well, this is what I want to fucking hear.
Yeah, in the good old days, I have a great love of the DC showcase, like big, thick black and white compilations of like Superman Family and Lois Lane and Superman of the period, when basically Superman of the period in the 50s and early 60s, his main thing was, occasionally he'd fight a supervillain, but mainly it was trying to find ways not to marry Lois. And to fool Lois and help Jimmy out, and or every once in a while rescue a cat or something. And I love how goofy that is. I love the silliness of it. And nowadays, now we've got, instead of Lois wanting to marry Superman and marry him, she's bitching to him about the fucking wage gap. I mean, that's just great.
Miles.
Oh sure.
Even though she's Lois Lane, probably the highest paid person at the paper because she was their number one writer, right? So I don't think there was a wage gap with her personally. Okay, so I've got to present this to go with our next super chat. Reston from Zabe for $5. Thank you for the $5, Zabe. It's greatly appreciated. R.I.P. Rucker Howard. Will we ever get the great debate between Doomcock and Gary? Deckard, replicant or human? I want to hear your fight it out live. Well, I think we agree on this one. What's your take on Deckard?
He's a replicant. There's no doubt.
You think Deckard's a replicant? Well, they made him I always thought he was human. I just stuck with human. I don't think he's a replicant because I know what Ridley Scott explained it. I know it's canon, but I like Harrison Ford's take on it, which is if he's a replicant, it doesn't really mean much. But
no, I disagree. I think that what it means, Gary, in my opinion, is that he like Rutger Hauer, Roy Batty, is the replicant messiah. There is a ton of religious symbolism around Roy Batty, especially at the end. After he kills, he rebels against God. And then he's a fallen angel. He's like, they have that shot after he walks out of there and he's in the elevator and it's up through the ceiling of the elevator, which is glass. And you see the elevator is falling away from the stars. And then, it cuts to him and he's descending. So he's there, but then he gets redeemed. He, there's religious symbolism, the dove that he clutches, when he's dying, his hand is contracting. He drives a spike through it, which is similar to the crucifixion of Christ. And what he does is he derails the conflict, and he saves Deckard, and tells him this thing. And Deckard comes to a higher understanding of replicants and of himself. Harrison, look, I love Harrison Ford. He's not the brightest bulb in the marquee.
He's not. He just
is not. He's kind of a Philistine, frankly. I'm sorry, he is. I love the guy. I think
I totally agree. There's a reason his agent for years did not let him do interviews.
He's so bad. He's so bad. He's flat.
It was a great excuse. His excuse to not do interviews was, I want you to see the character, not me. Or excuse, or maybe that was his reason. and it made a lot of sense. But no, I just thought Deckard was human because for me it worked then it's just robots fighting robots to me. And maybe I'm a simpleton too. But I think if Deckard is a human, that's the one person who like realizes these replicants, especially when he was killing them. He's like, oh shit, they're human. They're just as human as us. And it mattered more to me that I really hated the Deckard but you got to remember the first cut of the film I saw was the theatrical cut, probably like you. I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw it in a big empty theater. My mom took me with my friend Doug because it was rated R, and we thought we were going to get this action movie because that's what the trailer kind of made it. And we saw this like cerebral, cool. I didn't know what noir was, or cyberpunk or anything. And I'm like, I know I walked out of that like changed. I was like, oh, that was the coolest thing I ever saw, and I couldn't believe that nobody else liked it. I'm like, that was boring. I'm like, really? I thought it was the greatest thing ever made, but that's me. But I guess I just didn't understand it,
Well, even in the theatrical cut, those first lines are, they don't advertise for killers in the newspaper.
Yeah,
that was my job. Ex-Blade Runner, ex-cop, ex-killer. And then he says, sushi. That's what my ex-wife called me. Cold fish. He's a cold fish because he's a replicant. He and the wife is a implanted memory, along with the unicorn. The time he saw the unicorn in the forest, which is clearly there are no fucking unicorns. So the fact that he had this dream of the unicorn in the forest, and then Gav makes the unicorn origami piece, says that Gav saw his file like Deckard saw Rachel's file when he talked about the story with the spider outside the window. So that means that he's a replicant. The red eyes motif, that his red eyes appear in one shot like all the rest of the replicants at one time or another in the movie. Also at the end, when Gav says to him, "You've done a man's work, sir. I guess you're through. Finished. You've done a man's work, sir." He's impressed. He lets him live at the end. He lets him go. He lets Rachel go because he's impressed by Deckard. He even says, you're a killing machine at some point. The lieutenant, what's his name? I forget.
But the unicorn, see, the thing that didn't fit is the unicorn dream wasn't in the theatrical cut. That was in the
that's true, but that's one, but that's just one more piece of evidence out of those others.
Well, that was me, it was so I guess the studio made Ridley Scott make him human, because I like the version where he's driving away with Rachel at the end, which they don't show with that great Vangelis thing. But yeah, that's the way I see it. That's it. I want to call it a great debate. I'm probably, I watched Blade Runner 2049, which they made it pretty damn clear. So,
well, I didn't watch.
Yeah. So
I don't watch that shit.
And
I didn't watch it.
I watched. They didn't come out and say it, but they make it pretty clear. And of course, there's I don't want to ruin it for you if you ever watch it someday. I don't want to even tell you about the plot. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of Blade Runner 2049 at all. I thought it was boring. But that's me. I know a lot of people liked it. It was visually stunning, and there was people really walking slowly to doorways a lot, but it's not people go, look, the original Blade Runner was slow. I was like, no, it wasn't really that slow. And
no, it wasn't.
And it was shot practically in some of the best lighting I've ever seen in a film ever. Just the buildings. Yeah, but I still love it. I got to break out my Roy Batty 1/6 character. He's boxed up somewhere.
Nice.
Baptist 702 $5 with all 6 Infinity Stones. I would snap my fingers. All SJWs and bullies would disappear from fandoms and entertainment. I call that a blessing. Baptist, it would be, because the SJWs are essentially bullies. That's what they are. I mean, that's what they try to do.
I agree.
They hide behind things to bully, when generally, I don't. The term SJWs, I'm not afraid to use it. I'll use it at times, but I hope you all notice it's something I don't put in my video titles. It's not something, because I don't try to look and generalize too much. I think it's a large group of individuals who have a lot of insecurity issues, have power issues, and maybe are addicted to the dopamine rush from Twitter a little bit too much and probably need some therapy. But it's definitely when you get that many people together in social media and they, oh man, they cause a lot of problems. They do. Twitter, that's why I'm a very light Twitter user. I only follow, like, look at the people I follow or follow me and try to pay attention to them as much as I can. And it's 99% positive. I don't even see like the Dreckies. I kind of stay away from my mentions. So that way I don't see, I get my notifications, but I stay away from the mentions, and that's where the Dreckies show up. And I generally don't see them, but I know they're there.
Oh yeah. I'm on Twitter all the time. I don't care. I'm just don't give a shit. I'm having fun.
Yep.
And I love it. I love it when the Dreckies like attack, because it's hilarious. What I do is I just immediately mute them, and they don't even know they're muted. And I just could not give two shits what they're saying, but all they're doing is spreading my fame. Go ahead. Every once in a while I point it out to them and laugh, but of course I don't hear what their response is because they're muted.
Yep. And there's according to Mrs. Nerdrotic, there's a couple of people out there who are just absolutely dedicated to us. They just, that's all they do.
We live in their minds, Gary. We live there rent free.
There's lots of room in here. I should get a couch and a, bed.
Isn't it sweet? Isn't it sweet?
Yeah, it is. Hey, Mexican Iron Man is here. Hail. Mexican Iron Man for $9.99. I just signed on, arriving late. My lords, did you say D&D on Lord of the Rings? Yes. My God, no. I think I'm convulsing, and my heart shall soon stop pumping. Iron Man falling to earth. Nightmare. Better call Jarvis. Or is it just Juan? I'm sorry, Mexican Iron Man. It's Juan.
Juan, yes.
Oh, Juan. Yes, they're involved in helping them get it off the ground. That's according to Deadline and Esquire. That was reported yesterday. I did a video on it. This is one of my night releases. I do some night releases now because what the hell. Thank you, Mexican, for $9.99 and wow, $50 from, okay, I got to get this right. Feljoric Severda. Did I get that right? Feljoric Severda for $50 and no comment. Wow. Thank you. Say something in the chat. Tell me if I pronounced your name right or not. Probably not. But I try. Thank you so much. That really helps keep the content coming and helps us go on trips. And for the channel, I'm writing off 100% of the Star Trek Las Vegas. That's why I didn't crowdfund it, so I could write it off. I definitely need a write-off this year, and the Comic-Con and Star Trek will do it. Michael Maloney for $5. I thought the Tolkien estate had more sense. I did too. They did sign like this poison pill deal, so it was $250 million just for the rights. That's it. They get that money back. Yeah, it is. I think they have to have something produced within 3 to 4 years, or they keep the money and get the rights back. So that's why I think Dan and Dave were brought in, because things were moving kind of slow there. We got our first casting, and it was some little girl that I'd never heard of. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not surprised.
Well, Gary, I think that Dan and Dave are the best guys to bring in when really just cranking something out is more important than quality. I mean, they've proven that they can go ahead and just crank shit out. It won't be lit. It won't be focused. It'll all be shot in close up, but they cranked it out in time. So apparently that's really,
it's not under
like taking the garbage out.
Yes.
As long as they do it on time, that's the most important thing, right?
So Sauron's going to be a girl. That's my guess right now. Because we never, I saw him. They do call, but we don't know. We don't know because he's a shapeshifter. So we just don't know.
Maybe his name will be Salon. Instead of Sauron, it'll be Salon.
Salon.
And then the theme song will be by Eric Clapton. It'll be "Lay Down, Salon, rest you in my arms."
Oh God,
Salon. And you know who will work there? L'Oreal, the Klingon. Chancellor L'Oreal worked for Salon.
You have the most elves are the most interesting people. Castle Arg.
Live such interesting lives.
Castle Arg for 10. Lots of flat irons with elves, that's for sure. Castle Arg for $10. Tolkien fought in World War I. This crew had to fight to get their soy latte. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Tolkien was a freaking man. The more I learn about this guy, he was amazing. I love that there's scholars on this. I'm like, there's guys who are called Tolkien scholars. I want to be a scholar or something. I want to be an Adams scholar or something. I don't know. That's fucking cool. So yeah, and you really see it in his story. You can tell there's points of the story, especially when they're going through like the dead marshes. And it's been talked about that came from his time. He was in some famous battle against the Germans where they had, it was trench warfare. They had the Gatling guns, and it was just a massacre. And that's where the dead marshes came from, was just all his friends, around him dead. And you know what he did? He withdrew. He created this world. It must have been like, that's how horrifying the war must have been to create such a beautiful, full world. You have to, that has to make you withdraw so much. So through the horror of war, we get this beautiful story. So it's cool. I just think it's cool that we got this, and that's how he dealt with it. And I thought he dealt with it in a beautiful way, and he gave us all a gift that Amazon's going to fuck up, but it doesn't take away. Listen, I'm not going to count this as lore or anything, and it's not going to look or feel like the Peter Jackson films, which it's widely documented here that I think they are utter perfection, every single frame. I love the long ending. I watch them again and again. They're the only phones I carry, phones. They're the only movies I carry around on my phone, only phones, with me at all times. John T. Net is here. John T. Net with 800 Hong Kong dollars. What a terrible start today. GF storefront destroyed. What's GF?
GF storefront destroyed
by bricks and steel poles. Elevator lobby trashed. Established 200,000 USD and damages at least thanks to peaceful protesters. It's in Hong Kong. So is it your girlfriend's storefront destroyed? Yet can't help thinking I want to do the same to Bad Robot. Push the dang button. So you're involved in all that.
Bad Robot.
Yeah.
I hate them so much.
So your girlfriend got caught up in all that shenanigans that's going on in Hong Kong, which I'm only like vaguely aware about. I know I saw a video where there was some hired thugs that they hired some criminals to go out and like beat people on an escalator or something like that. What the hell's going on?
There's a lot of stuff going on in Hong Kong. I mean, it all sprang up from my understanding, limited understanding. John told me that they are fighting a law that basically says that China can extradite anyone from Hong Kong that they want to and bring them to mainland China for trial or whatever. And so, there's been kind of a little bit more of a laissez-faire attitude in Hong Kong, towards Hong Kong and business in Hong Kong since the takeover. And so the population is not responding well, at least the activist population, to this. So yeah, apparently it's I kind of figured it would burn itself out by now, but it looks like it's just escalating.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Hope you're okay, John.
Yeah, John.
Touch base with me, I gave you my number, John. If you need to call me, please do.
Stuff can go sideways quick, man. Well, I haven't been in a city riot, but I've been in some shit that goes sideways and it's nasty. So be careful. Keep your head in a swivel, John. Art Fusco for $5. Doomcock. What's up, Art? How's it going? You were right in your first video about how Discovery Season 2 was going to end. Hope you don't mind. I put it in a video on my page. So there.
Good.
Yes.
Good. You know, I listen, I've been right about a lot of things, including I was the only guy that said that season 3 of STD was going to be short treks. And lo and behold, it sure as hell looks like season 3 is going to be short treks. So doubt Doomcock at your own risk, fools.
Yeah, that's kind of what my next video is going to be, a Star Trek video. And maybe it's out tonight, maybe it's out tomorrow morning, but it's talking a little bit about Star Trek Disgracery season 3 because we got some photos and stuff. It looks really bland. But they shot it in Iceland. It's like, oh God.
Wow. I actually have a source that told me that. So, that source is confirmed now. I guess I need to send an email to my it's a different contact. It's a different source.
Oh, and, I can absolutely confirm one thing we both reported on, and we talked about this privately. I can absolutely confirm that the testing for Picard was really bad. So I've now had a third person who
finally
I spoke to in person at Comic-Con who used to work on the show and said heads rolled after that, which they did. It's obvious because then we got the Shaban hiring, but there was more than that. There was other people who got canned after that. And that's what Kurtzman does.
All the wrong people.
Let
me tell you something. Yes, it wasn't the fucking costumes. It wasn't the costumes.
Nope.
That's not the problem. I can guarantee it, sight unseen. It's not the fucking costumes, dudes. So, you know, goddamn. I don't know.
Fuck it.
God.
And Kurtzman's not in charge anymore. I mean, it's Michael Chabon's show, but yeah, again, vindicated. We're vindicated. Persia for Canadian $10. JJ brought us the Cinepocalypse. I like that. I just got to learn how to say it, Chris. SJWs are waging war on cinematography. JJ and Kurtzman have conquered canon, leaving us with a famine of good stories and the death of Star Wars and Star Trek. Well said. God, you Canadians are so goddamn smart. I don't care what the East Coast says about you, but it's everybody on the East Coast.
I love my guys in Canada.
Yes, it's really cool. Just to break in for it's so freaking cool that I get to talk to people, and so do you. And like we both have, like, I have a lot of subscribers from the UK, from Australia, from the Canada, and I know you do as well. And it is brilliant talking with you all and hearing different perspectives, and also hearing the commonalities, which we have so much of. So
yes.
That's thanks for being here. Really, it is so freaking cool. No, not so scruffy nerf herder for Australian. Speaking of Australians, for Australian $2. Good morning, Gary and Lord Doomcock. Good morning at 7:28 p.m. and 9:28 p.m. for you.
Yes, exactly.
In the center of the earth. Well, I guess it's whatever. You're at center o'clock, whatever it is at center of the earth.
Exactly. 0 o'clock. It's always 0 o'clock here in Doomcock time.
Are you surrounded by nickel? Like, are you at the dead center of the earth? Or you can't say?
I for security reasons, I will not say, but I will say that it is really at the very center. It is an artificial environment created by an alien species.
That's right.
Way back in the Jurassic period. So
somebody asked me at our meetup if you have a backstory. I'm all, yes, actually, he does. He has an origin story. It's on Midnight's Edge. You've told that story before on their first interview with you. And
yes.
Yeah.
But
he also asked me, which I don't know the answer to. This was Jackson, a member of the Fandom Menace. What's up, Jackson? If you're out there, he hung out, wore a Nerdrotic shirt. It's freaking rad. Love it. Love you, man. asked if you have a nemesis, a hero nemesis, but I mean, besides Harvey, but you capture Harvey. So is there plans in the future to create like a superhero nemesis to Doomcock?
A superhero nemesis?
Yeah, like you're a supervillain. Do you have a superhero that you fight?
Not that I'm aware of, because there are no superheroes. I'm a real supervillain.
So he's okay. Gotcha.
But I have but I have a nemesis, an arch nemesis, a fiend that that is even worse than I am. So in a sense, I might even be a hero, but it's basically Jar Jar Abrams.
Okay.
Jar Jar Abrams is my absolute arch nemesis, my foe, the despised one, whose defeat I am hell bent on achieving. And of course, he would say that he's a hero, right? Because he's, the darling of Hollywood, and he's got all this money. I mean, he's basically like Mr. Fantastic in a way, only he's not fucking fantastic. He sucks. But other than that, yeah, Jar Jar Abrams is my arch nemesis, without a doubt.
He's more like the Homelander from the comics. I know some people are upset about the Boys TV show. So we can't talk about, I know some people have asked about the Boys TV show. Doomcock hasn't seen it yet. So I'm going to wait and see, he's read all the comics though. He's read all the comic books. So you've seen me before you met me then, because I'm in issue 23.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah,
I did not know.
Yeah,
I did not know.
So I'm the guy carrying in all the flamethrowers right before Vought comes in and wipes out the G-men. And Wee Huey gets in his superhero costume, and but yeah, I'm in the beginning of that one. So yeah, I'm gonna probably do a video on it later. It's not an easy one to do because my friend's involved in the show, but they made some creative decisions that I've heard you guys talk about, and I feel the same way you do. I do. I'm just like dumbfounded. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Carl Urban was a great butcher though, like really good. And the guy playing the Homelander is spot on, freaking spot on. But there's some creative decisions that they didn't need to make that undercut. Something very similar happened in Swamp Thing. Sunderland's supposed to be this big tycoon, right? Well, in the Swamp Thing show, he gets all his money from his wife. He has to beg her for money.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, come on. I mean, it's just every position of power. They gender swapped a major character from the Boys into a female just because they wanted to have another like every position of power there is a female in charge, and if a man is in a position of power, he is compromised or a dick or something.
Of course,
yeah, and they don't need to do that. Not with the Boys. The Boys kind of did that already within the narrative. I mean, it's not like it's like you said before this. It's called The Boys. The Boys.
That's exactly. That is my thesis there. It's called The Boys. So, all this bullshit trying to take it over with the girls sucks. It just sucks.
Yep. All right. Yeah. But well, so much for me not talking about it, but we're going to move on with the super chats. Michael Maloney for $10. Thank you, Michael. Oh my God, the blue walrus juice is made out of Ewoks. I tell you.
Yeah, I love that. Got posted on my Patreon. I love that so much. That was so funny. As they're dragging her away, they're dragging Snow White down the street. The cops are, and she said, "So the blue milk is made out of Ewoks. It's Ewoks."
I love it. Oh, Galaxy's Edge. So disappointing. It was boring.
Oh,
it was boring.
God, yeah.
There's not even like cool I mean, you think you go to a Star Wars land and that would be the place where you can get those, like giant Kenner figures or something. I mean, no, there's none of that shit. There's one collectible store that you have to, that's secret, that's like off the beaten path that you have to find that has like some high-end stuff. I couldn't find it. And I was like, I got frustrated. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going to look at a map or ask somebody. It's like, if that's great business practice. Let's make our really expensive stuff really hard to find. And then people can talk about it. Go, oh, it's a secret place that only a few people can find. Then they're going to wonder when it doesn't exist anymore because nobody can fucking find it. So millennial.
Yeah.
Let's make a store. Let's make a brick and mortar store that nobody can find. That's thinking out of the box.
Yeah. Woo! That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
King of Sharks for $5. Hail the Inquisition. First time catching you guys live and loving it. Oh, brilliant. Welcome, King of Sharks. All are welcome here. Thank you for the $5 and chatting up. And anybody, hey, so if you're new here, as my analytics have said, more than half of you watching right now are not subscribed. Prescribed. You should prescribe to Nerdrotic. That's it. It should be a prescription, not a subscription. But please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Consider it anyway. And don't forget to lick that like button.
And subscribe to Doomcock.
Yes.
YouTube.com/Overlord DVD. It's a great channel. If
The
I do
link-
say so myself.
Link is yes, it is. Link is in the description for Doomcock's channel, by the way. And I'm sure our wonderful moderators are posting up the links to his Patreon as well. He has a Patreon. I do too, but my tiers are kind of I gotta change my tiers. They're all sold out.
Are they like tears in rain?
There's like tears in rain. Yes, exactly. They are. That's what I should call one of them, the tear in the rain. Oh, that's a good idea. Real quick, I want to announce there is Doomcock can't make this one because he's very busy at the center of the earth making robots, and they don't make themselves. And kind of watching Harvey's that's a tough job. But there's a meetup a week next Friday, a week from last Friday, this Friday, August 2nd, 8 p.m. Pacific time in Las Vegas at the Millennium Fandom Bar. The information's on my website, nerdrotic.com. There will be other YouTubers there, I believe. And the bar doesn't know we're coming, but it's a bar, it's public. And I don't drink. So I'll be kind of loitering there, but I'll bring people who will drink, hopefully. Uber there, drive responsibly, meet us. I will have t-shirts to give away, and Mrs. Nerdrotic will be there. And I've met the owner of this place before and had a long conversation with him, so hopefully he'll remember me. And it should be fun. So if you're going to Star Trek Las Vegas, please join us then. That would be great. I had, meeting you guys in San Diego was the best part about it. Thank you again for King of Sharks. I really appreciate it. Let me get caught up here. There's John T. Net, King of Sharks. Mighty Balzac, Doomcock, Mighty Balzac from Australia.
Mighty Balzac.
The Mighty Balzac. Bruce, the Mighty Balzac. He said, keep up the good work. We will.
Of course.
Avataz for $2. HBO bait and switched us with Sean Bean. That's why with Game of Thrones. Yeah, they kind of, that's what got my attention. I saw Sean Bean in a fantasy. I'm like, hey, I like Lord of the Rings. This looks cool. I remember people telling me about the book series when I was at the comic shop, and my answer was my stock answer of I read comics. I don't have time to read books with words in them. And I couldn't for the longest time, but I made time for Game of Thrones. After I watched the first 5 episodes, I bought all the books and went to town. Psycho Dwarf 9. Yeah, it was. I still love them. Psycho Dwarf 9 for $5. No Star Wars, no Star Trek, no more MCU without hot and cold running, arse kissing, and original stories. Yeah, I mean they need to. It's going to take them a while to turn this around, Doomcock. Like, even if they stop. What was your guess on how long it would take for them if they stopped right now and just went back to, let's tell some stories here. How long do you think it'll take?
I don't know. Easily 3 years. I mean, these things don't stop on a dime. They don't change course on a dime. It's just sad. I don't think we're going to see much change or fixing for, really start to see it for maybe 5 years. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with that. 3 years minimum.
Right.
Right. And it'll still be going when the trend is tired. So say when female Thor comes out, I think people will be just rolling. I mean, people are rolling their eyes now. Like people are. I mean, it's easy to play well to the Comic-Con crowd. They are going to love everything. And that's why Comic-Con has changed so much, because it's filled with MCU fans. And not that I have any problem with if you're just a fan of the MCU, but if you're a fan of the MCU and I hear this a lot, like, I don't care about the comics. I don't care about the comics. You know, it's like, well, okay.
Well,
These things aren't movies. These are adaptations of comics.
yes.
They're pale imitations. Even the good
mostly
stuff.
wrong. Mostly wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, they're doing shorthand, and they're, you know, telescope. What do you call it? Condensing things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just not. It's not the real straight dope. It's not.
Nope. Star Wars, but as Star Trek, the original series, is a close second. Says Castle Arg for $5. There you go. And there's nothing wrong with that. Candace Marie for $5. Reading Persepolis Rising now. I'm nervous about all the areas in the source material for obvious SJW issues starting to get cliche, but good story. Yeah, the later Expanse books swerve very close in that direction. It still fundamentally like shows both sides of an argument, but I don't think the show will do what the books do, because it can't. Because without spoiling anything, you watch The Expanse for the crew of the Rocinante. That's why we watch the show. You can't put them into the background. You can in the books. In the books, you can put them, they basically have the crew of the Rocinante as one character, and then they introduce new people every book. You can't do that in the series. You still have to center it around Holden, Naomi, Amos, and Alex. You don't do that, nobody watches anymore. It's that simple. And the showrunners know that.
Yeah, I absolutely. And I'm glad that they're doing that. I mean, honestly, I've said this before, but I'm looking forward to whenever the show ends to then really tear through the books.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reading the first one just to get like the richness, the context, the setting, but I'm not going to read the rest. And yeah, because it deviates. And I love that. It'll be a whole alternate version of The Expanse that I've not experienced when the show's done.
Yep. Agreed. And it's always best to watch the show before the books, because then it doesn't feel like an insult. It feels like extra. That's why, that's why Game of Thrones, I watched the show first, and same with The Expanse. And that's why I look at it differently. I know I had a debate with Word of Wolf, and I totally understand his perspective because he read the books first. So I might be from his perspective if I had done that. So, because I like the later we had a debate about Spider-Man, and it's like, well, I've read the comics first. That's why I have problems. And you can't argue me out of them.
No.
Juan Wong for Australian $5. Unfortunately, James Cameron has proven that flashy spectacle crap equals box office win. We need to stop buying crap like Avatar. Yes. 1,000 times yes. I was dumbfounded that Avatar made that much money, and I love James Cameron. I think he's a competent director, but what he is especially good at is tapping into normies. Like, he taps into the normies like no other. He understands of both sexes. The reason Titanic did so well is equal amounts men and women went to that movie. And that's why it killed. And Avatar probably the same, really.
I agree with that. But the thing is, the guy really has the goods. I mean, he's made some of the best goddamn action movies in history. Terminator, Terminator 2, and Aliens are 3 fucking masterpieces that, any way you cut it. I mean, the guy's got the goods. Now, he decided to calculate and go with Titanic and Avatar and stuff, but it doesn't change the fact that the guy is genuinely a great director. And a solid, scenarist. I mean, he's not necessarily the writer, but I mean, he guides the story, and he's got great story sense and great discipline. I'm still very impressed with Cameron, even though, Terminator 6.
Ugh.
You know,
It's almost like he
That's
agreed to
sad.
do that movie because somebody blackmailed him with Me Too. It's kind of a joke,
yeah,
but it's not.
yeah. or
He's got
raise
a
money. I don't
terrible
know.
reputation in Hollywood. He's got an awful reputation. So
With
I'm
what? For what?
being he's tyrannical on the set. There's been tons
Well,
of
yeah.
stories of him just being a complete dictator on the set, kind of a womanizer. Just surprised he's, steer clear of
Well,
that
he
stuff.
slept with, Gail Ann Hurd, and he slept with Linda Hamilton. I think he married both of them, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So, but shit.
Good for him.
Look, if a guy's willing to marry the pounds that he Me Too's, it's kind of stand up. It's like the shotgun wedding. It's like the honorable thing to do. I mean, I don't know.
Unless they're having kids.
Well,
I
know.
I like the vast majority of his stuff. The only movie I
do
don't
too.
like is Avatar. I love The Abyss. Freaking love The Abyss.
Oh man,
Such a
isn't that
cool
good?
movie. Yeah.
And I gotta say, the extended cut of that is the only way to watch that one.
Yes, agreed.
For sure.
What do you John Balderdash for $5. Overlord, Gary, what's your favorite Mel Brooks movie? My vote goes to the producers. Doomcock?
My vote goes to Young Frankenstein because I know a lot of people love Blazing Saddles better. I think Blazing Saddles is kind of more of a bunch of sketches tied together that are very, very, very funny. And you could argue that Blazing Saddles is funnier than Young Frankenstein. But Young Frankenstein, because Gene Wilder also wrote it along with Mel Brooks, has more of a narrative structure and it's more of a complete film. And I argue that Gene Wilder's portrayal of Dr. Frankenstein is so committed, so intense. And the photography, they use the same equipment that was in Frankenstein in the lab scenes. It could literally be an entry in the Universal horror pantheon. I mean, it's that good. So my vote would go for Young Frankenstein, even though Blazing Saddles is maybe funnier.
I 100% agree with that. I love Blazing Saddles, but Young Frankenstein is also a technical achievement. They used a lot of the old props. I believe some of the old sets, maybe. And
the Frankenstein lab equipment was the Frankenstein lab equipment.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was beautifully shot. Like it's like his best directed film, in my opinion. And yeah, there's just something, it's in my top 10 favorite movies, Young Frankenstein. There's something that I just love. I never get tired of that movie, but Blazing Saddles is great, but as an artistic achievement and being comedy, which is the hardest thing to do. The single hardest thing to do is comedy. It's Young Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree. I think it's brilliant. And because the comedy comes out of the plot. So, I mean, my grandfather's work was doo-doo. And then he stabs himself in the leg with the scalpel. And then the way it's sticking up there and he lets go of it. And he puts his hand back on it. Then he crosses his leg. Class dismissed.
I'm also going to,
it's so good. And John Morris's score. I wish I had the actual score to the whole movie.
Do they not have one?
The only thing I found, the closest thing I found to a Young Frankenstein score was a LP that got released years ago called something about Mel Brooks that had like High Anxiety and Young Frankenstein. Yeah, look at that. Oh man, that's hot. Alan Kahn, man.
Another reason I like it. Tired of playing the game. So Mrs. Nerdrotic resembles Madeline Kahn, my wife. So
nice.
Yeah, that's why I love this movie so much.
Mrs. Nerdrotic resembles Lily von Stupp.
Lily von Stupp. She's even had hair like her at one time. Yeah. Yes. So I'm a big Madeline Kahn fan. She was good. I just freaking love this movie so much. I want to watch it now. You guys, that's a great question, man. That was a great question. I love you guys and your good questions. Oh, I see Mark C here. What's up, Mark C? How's it going, man? Good to see you. I'll get to your super chat in just a second. I love Mark C. It's a real dude right there. Yeah, there's no soundtrack for that. We got to find that. Somebody
sucks. I'd kill
get
for
on
it.
that.
I'd kill for it.
You know, the chat.
I
is
collect
good for that.
soundtracks. I have a lot of soundtracks, and I have not got I don't think it was released. If it was, it's obscure. I haven't been able to find it.
Maybe
And,
some like.
I've got so many soundtracks, Gary. So many. That's one of my passions in life.
That's beautiful. Now it's good. I have I have some vinyl, but yeah, not like you. I have them digital and stuff, but I prefer them in vinyl or whatever way I can get them. But the chat's great for that one. I was looking for something. I just said, man, I can't find this. You know, I was looking for a Captain Jack. It's really kind of musical theater. Okay, it's a toner doll. I don't know if you ever heard of toner dolls, but they're very musical theater. But I wanted a Captain Jack one, Jack Harkness from Torchwood. I couldn't find one on eBay, and like I mentioned it in a live stream. Somebody found it for me like that. Like shot me an email. Boom, you guys are awesome. And now I have it. It's right next to me.
Sweet.
So let's get to Luke Stryker for $5. What do you guys think of the Star Wars 9 time travel theory? Oh, yeah. Have you heard that?
No.
Okay, let me lay it out for you. So Red Letter Media did a video like with their one of their predictions video, and they gathered some evidence that's pretty good that looks like JJ might be using time travel in Star Wars. Now they put together some evidence like an interview with JJ saying, you know, I'm going to do what I want. They obviously want to fix some stuff from The Last Jedi. They showed some better evidence. There's also the evidence out there that Matt Smith, who's in it, might be playing a young Palpatine. Now, I still doubt they'll do it, but I think it's a possibility. Anything's a possibility with JJ. And time travel is the best way to it's not the best way. It's the cheapest, lamest way to get yourself out of writing yourself in a corner. Alex Kurtzman just did it with Star Trek Discovery. And honestly, they did it in Endgame as well. And I'm not crazy about what they did. And that's going to have major repercussions on the MCU going forward if they care about canon, which I don't think they do. But if they use time travel in Star Wars, would that be button time? Would that make you push the button? Or is it just gone now?
I think Star Wars is dead as far as I'm concerned, honestly. I mean, it is deader than Star Trek. Look, they really killed Luke. They've killed Han. Leia's dead in real life. Carrie Fisher's dead. The thing is all over except the flies and the maggots, you know, stripping its bones. It's just, so it's really hard to care anymore. I have zero interest. I have zero suspense. If somebody sent me the script tomorrow, I would read it. I don't care about spoilers. You cannot spoil shit. And besides, I'm boycotting the damn thing. I'm calling for a boycott. I will see it for free somehow to review it because people need to know what the hell's going on. It's my duty, but I do not want to see it. If I had my druthers, I wouldn't see it, period. I have zero interest in it.
I'm right there with Star Wars. For me is complete apathy. It's now chronicling its demise. It's very sad, but I haven't, since I walked out of The Last Jedi, I have not cared at all. Again, I gave away all my action figures from when I was a kid. Those things meant the most to me. I gave them to my patrons. I just wanted to give something nice to them, and hopefully they enjoyed them because I wasn't getting any enjoyment out of them whatsoever. The time travel theory, it would be stupid as hell. So I kind of hope they do it.
Oh yeah, me too. They're fighting. They're like going through time and fighting or some shit like that or something. I don't know. Kylo and
it was reported early on when JJ was first involved that I remember I did a podcast on it that 5 people listened to, that they were trying like hell to get Darth Vader into this. They wanted Darth Vader back in so bad. This is your way to do it. And it would in turn completely F Rian Johnson. It would be fucking The Last Jedi, or their attempt at it, which we get the double win of it being completely trash with J.J. Abrams and disrespecting Ryan Johnson all in one swoop. It would be beautiful. And if the movie makes less than I know this is crazy talk, but if it makes less than $1 billion worldwide, that's when the boycott works, the fandom menace works. It shows the power of the fandom menace. You really got to not see this movie. I'm right there with you. If I didn't have a channel, I wouldn't go. Wouldn't care. Would never watch it ever.
Right.
It's that dead to me. I know you guys are big Star Wars fans. If you love Star Wars, don't go. Don't go.
Without respect, we reject. Without respect, we reject. Period. You cannot let these people spit in your face, for two years, and then go and reward them like some kind of battered spouse returning for another beating because you have nowhere else to go. You have plenty of other places to go. Have some dignity and boycott this garbage.
Yeah, watch Lord of the Rings, watch the original trilogy, your own copies. Listen, how this is going to end. What's going to happen. For one, Luke is gone. Your favorite character is gone. Princess Leia is gone. Han Solo is gone. I mean, we're going to see Peter Mayhew is not playing Chewbacca. It's not even a shell of its former self. It's a horrible porn imitation. The porn imitations are better than what Disney produces. They are better. Watch one of those instead. I was just going to mention one of the funniest things I saw was, and I can't find it anywhere, was Gene Wilder did an interview about Young Frankenstein because he co-wrote it and he was having a little problem. I'm sure you've probably seen the interview. And he was, they got stuck at some point. So he said, well, I went upstairs and I twisted the muse, came back down, came up with this idea. And I'm like, twisted the muse. That is the best. I had a nerdrotic moment. I actually owned that domain name for a little while, Twisting the Muse. I was going to use it as like a production company when I was working in Hollywood. I love that, but that just made me think of that. But don't go. I don't want to tell you what to do. Do what you like. But like, honestly, it would help fandom immensely by spending your money elsewhere. Like, go buy an Expanse Blu-ray or Alita. Buy Alita Battle Angel on 4K. That would help. Odin, our good friend Odin, was showing off how Alita's all sold out, and there's still tons of Captain Marvel Blu-rays. By the way, when you see those Blu-ray numbers of like this many Blu-rays sold, those are units sold to retailers. Those are not units actually sold. I got to keep that in mind. That was a big trick of the music industry back in forever. For the longest time, because I remember working at the warehouse and Michael Jackson Bad, like we sent shitloads of them back, tons of them back. Yes, I was working at the warehouse and Bad came out. I know people like him. I don't. Father Christopher Miller, $2. I laughed, I cried, it was better. I know, I was waiting for this. Father, I laughed, I cried, it was better than Cats, which was a Saturday Night Live skit where they get hypnotized, and you got to watch Saturday Night Live, but it's pretty funny. People were saying that for like an entire year, but it was like a vocal meme.
Oh yeah.
John Balderdash for $10. Read JJ's Superman flyby script. I have. You?
I have.
It's fucking awful. Do you think he's gonna repurpose it?
Of course he's a lazy bastard. Of course he is. Who's to stop him now? He doesn't need to care. It was terrible. It started out okay, just exactly like Jar Jar Abrams always does. I mean, I'd say about the first half of it, I thought this is pretty good, and then all of a sudden you get like, I don't know, Kryptonian egg shit. I don't know. I don't even remember. I was like, what the fuck is this?
There's a couple of videos.
It was
on
awful.
Yeah, it was terrible. There's a couple of videos on it in YouTube of them, like worst movies never made. Look it up. You'll see it. What a piece of trash from a hack. I noticed that even in his scripts, he writes things like the most incongruous. I can't even pronounce that word ever. Incongruous, INCONGRUOUS, incongruous. Cut ever. I don't know. The widest crane shot ever. Everything is
Stupid.
ever for him. He probably still uses cranes and not drones. John Balderdash, thank you again for $10. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce that word, but California, publicly educated. I can barely pronounce my name. Thank you, John Balderdash, for the 2 very generous super chats. And Father Christopher Miller, who is a father. He's a father, like the father, like father. Hekate's daughter for 99 cents. Thank you very much. Thank you for the donation. I greatly appreciate it. It does help. Every little bit helps, right, Doomcock?
Yes, indeed. Every bit keeps us going, keeps the lights on here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Talking Pulp for $5. Money so you can buy things, and I know I love the channel, and I'd love to see you in DC in a musical, but not something as shit as Cats.
I've actually thought, Gary, I've been thinking about when I talked about the other Inquisition, maybe coming up to visit you and hang out with you.
Oh yeah,
and then maybe we could even do a show or a few videos together. I'd wear a mask and we would just have a little fun.
That would be fucking awesome. We got to make that happen. I don't
know if you could put me up or something.
Oh, we can handle that. Don't worry. We got you. You can come to the Casa de Nerdrotic, established in 1910. Yeah. If you see me fall through the floor someday, it could happen. It could really happen. Stunned Soul.
But it would be fun.
I think it'd be great. No, we got to do that. We need to talk about that when I get back from Vegas. We got to make that happen. Make it happen.
Awesome.
All right. Stunned Soul for $5. The SJWs may be able to kill things we love, but they cannot destroy the love itself. Love they could never imagine and never feel. Yep. They can try. Listen, you can try all day. You can F with the canon. I'm gonna complain about it, but it's not gonna take away my enjoyment of Star Trek. But honestly, they did win with Star Wars. Stunned Soul. It took away my enjoyment of the original trilogy. It did. It robbed me of that, and that I'm angry about. That I'm not gonna forgive. I'm not gonna forgive that. Not gonna forget it. So it'll happen.
I was going to say, to quote another musical other than Cats, love is never gone. As we travel on, love's what we'll remember. Back to you, Chet.
That is true. But damn, they got Star Wars. They got the win on that one.
It's dead. It's dead, and Star Trek is on fucking life support. It's bad. It's just really bad.
The only thing that helps is Star Trek Discovery is so bad that it doesn't even look. I mean, they can talk about it being in canon. It doesn't fit at all. Like, not story wise, not visually, nothing. There's nothing that feels like Star Trek at all. So I can easily pretend it just doesn't exist. But it's this going into the future where people think they're unfucking Star Trek. No, they can actually do more damage because they're moving forward. Think about it, people. Yeah, it's 1,000 years in the future, but they can go, well, this happened in history. Boom. Canon established, according to them. Not to me, but they can do a lot of fucking damage. Selena Kyle for $1.99. What is both of your favorite H.P. Lovecraft stories? Well,
I like At the Mountains of Madness. I found that hypnotic and very disturbing. Obviously the Call of Cthulhu, but I really like At the Mountains of Madness. I think that just the meticulous way that he documents the finding of these alien things, the way that he describes them, the way that the dogs are being so agitated, the ruins that they're wandering around in. I find it stunning, and also, very plausible, since it's, at the top of the world or bottom of the world. I forget. I get the North Pole and South Pole confused. They're both white and icy. So,
yeah. Well, to my shame, I didn't read any. I didn't read any until the Call of Cthulhu graphic novel came out. So I'm not a big. Yeah, I wasn't. I never got around to it. I meant to. I did, but I just didn't. But yeah, the Call of Cthulhu. That was it. That's all I've read. I'm a bad nerd, but I was just into other stuff. Yeah, I wasn't. I read. Yeah, I've mostly read comic books. I've read.
Well, that's okay. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I did too, a lot. But I love Poe. I love Lovecraft. I got to tell you, Lovecraft is a hell of a writer. I mean, his vocabulary, his way of expressing himself is very, very literate, very masterful. He has a great mastery of the English language, and I find it erudite, and the spell he weaves with his words and his implications is profound if you can invest the time. I think I don't know. I mean, you might not like it, but I think you might.
Oh, it's something at least I have to check out still. There's still stuff I have to learn and read, and I look forward to it. I love Poe.
Oh God, it was.
Yeah, no. I like Poe. I like Charles Dickens. Yeah, I've read some old shit. DJM Voices for $10. Hail DC and Gary on Star Wars. One glaring problem I never hear about the sequels. Why the hell has R2 been so disrespected? He has like 3 scenes in total at 2 where he doesn't do anything notable. Well, I know you have an opinion on this, and it's probably mine is similar to yours. Is they like the beach ball better? They just want to. That's J.J. Abrams' thing. We're gonna hook you in with the nostalgia, then make our own thing and make it cuter and the bestest thing ever.
The son of a bitch takes a droid head and sticks it on a fucking beach ball and calls it art. I actually posted his original drawing in a video where I was complaining about this. It is a goddamn droid head stuck on a beach ball. Beach ball 8. That is the name of the thing. And because he can monetize it, because it's his, he goes ahead and uses it over R2D2. That, it's not his. That's basically it. That is it. So it's taking a subverting, undermining, trashing the original trilogy. C-3PO and R2D2 were designed to see all the movies through to the end, to be the one constant. And no, Jar Jar Abrams went ahead and trashed that because he had a little stupid brain fart and he was so goddamn proud of what he made, like a little kid showing you his diaper. I made. That's basically right, Jar Jar. You sure did make. You really did. I hate that goddamn droid so much I can't even tell you.
No, I think he's a perfect description for what the fandom is now. Like he represents the new fandom. So I'm just seeing there. Oh, I saw the sorry, I just got distracted. So the new Blade is going to be Muslim, possibly. Okay. Well, I knew. Yeah. So okay. All right. Yeah. Here we go. I wanted to pull this up because I guess there's a shot of you on YouTube of Daniel Craig wearing a dress for equal pay. Okay, maybe he just wanted to really wear a dress. That's what I'm thinking. But let's get to this.
Dude, this weekend, yesterday, I went out to get a little bite to eat, a little drink, and the person who was the matron was wearing a dress. Dude was wearing a dress straight up.
Oh, yeah, I see it all the time. It's got an old hat here.
Oh, okay. Well, to
especially
me,
in my yeah. No, it's
I mean, I didn't
it's,
say anything, but yeah.
you're just, like that when you're presented with that and you're like, oh my God, pronouns. I got to remember my pronouns now. And I got to go back to like, those cartoons that were before the cartoons and the Saturday morning cartoons. I got to remember my pronouns because I forget them all. I haven't been to school in a while. And yeah, this is why I just say it out loud. I call everybody dude, even my wife. So that's it.
Yes,
Fender,
I've done that before. I've done that before. And the lady in question that I called dude, which was a road thing to do. I mean, it's like, dude, it's like, I take you seriously, dude, Yeah. But she corrected me. And she knows who she is. She might even be listening. I know she's listening probably. So anyway,
yes,
dude was not a term of, it was a term of endearment, not a term of disparagement.
absolutely. But yeah, we know what we're saying. We don't require correction. If you don't like it, well, there you go. Fender Strat, £5. Hi, Gary. Are you going to review The Boys? I'm enjoying it so far. If you have, sorry, I must have missed it. Keep up the great work. I have not reviewed it yet. I will review it tomorrow if I have time. I'm putting together a big Orville video, and I've got to strategize like how I'm going to keep the channel going while I'm on vacation, because that's the one thing. I mean, this is YouTuber content creator problems. When you go on vacation, the algorithm doesn't give a crap. It's not like YouTube has an option of like, we'll keep the algorithm going while you're gone. So right. I have to figure out a way to make videos from the hotel room or something. Because I did that in San Diego. I carved myself a little corner in my hotel room, and I made content, which I have to continue to do even on my vacation with my family. So that'll be interesting. But it'll probably be all Star Trek all the time next week. But yeah, I haven't done it yet. I'll probably do it in the next couple of days. Not so scruffy nerf herder for Australian $5. What I like about the Orville is that SJW happy ending isn't always guaranteed. In fact, the social issues often addressed in the Orville do not get resolved. No, they don't get resolved, or you get the result. You get the result that you didn't think you were going to get, like in About a Girl. That wasn't a happy ending to them. That I thought it was a very logical. It was a logical ending though, and that's what Star Trek Discovery lacks completely is logic. And that's where the Orville succeeds, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Mega Jetty 1 for $2. What's up, man? Nerdrotic Doomcock, I sent you both a DM on Twitter. I saw it. I just looked at it. I can't read that because that's a long DM to Mega Jetty. Thank you very much. I'll read it after the show. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's long. Nova Roma for $4.99. There's a video on YouTube where Daniel Craig is in a dress for equal pay. Well, I hope he got equal pay for wearing the dress. I hope he got it right.
I think it's pandering, and it's embarrassing, and yeah, I've lost a little respect for the guy, frankly.
Yeah, he's the one who brought in what's her name, L337 to write. At least that's what it said. Half the time I hear this, again, this is just my cynical mind, I'm thinking he got busted with some Me Too stuff, and this is kind of like his community service. Instead of blasting it out, they'll go, well, you're going to say you're going to hire somebody on to your Bond film who's going to, bring in some feminism to the Bond film. And he's going, what? Or we'll just show everybody these pictures. Okay, never mind. That's parent. It's a power play in Hollywood, and it's working. It's working until we decide we're done watching this shite. And I'm pretty close. Yeah. Maybe I'll just review old Doctor Who episodes, Star Trek episodes. I don't know. George B. Pryor for Australian $10. It's okay to steal what others have worked to create and redistribute it to the oppressed classes because they only got it in the first place by cheating. Gee, where have I heard that before? Well, George, that's exactly what's happening. It's happening through a lot of stuff. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's not cheating. I mean, it's just the way history went out. It's not cheating. I mean, they love to say that, but I mean, that's basically the excuse of those who, for whatever reason, history or whatever didn't work out for. And it's just, it's not cheating. Okay. This is such a phony bunch of crap.
It's a bullshit. We got to put one more thing on trial. I'm going to cut in. So if I do not get to all the super chats tonight, I'm going live tomorrow and I will do a super chat score up. Plus I'm also going to read, I got a bunch of letters in my PO box. So I got to read those. So that will happen again. I apologize, but we have time limits on these. I only, Doomcock has to sleep and stuff. And we still have one more article to go over real quick. But because we got to pass our sentences, but I know you did a great video on this subject. Please go check it out. It was on Kate Mulgrew and this goes right into what you were just talking about. Calling Gene Roddenberry a misogynist, basically basing 2019 ideals on somebody who in the 60s and later on. Would you care to repeat just a little bit of again? Please go watch the video. It's great. Your thoughts on Kate Mulgrew's claims that Gene Roddenberry and Star Trek: The Original Series are extremely misogynist.
My thought when I first saw that was it gave me a throbbing headache. A absolute throbbing headache. I was so angry. I could not believe that she would have the balls, metaphorically speaking, to say that Gene Roddenberry and Star Trek were extremely misogynist. Now, I've heard that there's sexist stuff in Star Trek, and well, the 60s had some sexist stuff in it, but misogyny actively is hatred of women. Hatred of women. There is no hatred of any race or sex in Star Trek. And Gene Roddenberry sure as hell did not hate women. He spent most of his time chasing women. He was a womanizer, yes. But he hated women? No. No, he did not hate women. That is absolutely absurd. Star Trek was groundbreaking at the time. Absolutely groundbreaking. And when you go ahead and judge a show that was pioneering and fighting certain attitudes and espousing certain views in a time when those views were anti-establishment and were not popular and were suppressed, and you go ahead and because that show was not perfect, that you're going to go ahead and condemn it by a modern yardstick of your wokeitude, your fucking perfection, as you see it, is just asinine. It's just pig ignorant. You have no idea of the context of Star Trek or the context of the civil rights struggles of the 60s. You claim to be, liberals, you claim to be woke, whatever. Kate Mulgrew tossing this lightly off at some kind of talk or some shit like that is it is deeply offensive when Gene Roddenberry and Star Trek both did more to fight for equality among the races and the sexists when it was hard than Kate Mulgrew will ever do in her life. The hypocrisy, the mendacity, the stupidity of it just makes my head throb.
This is why we like Doomcock, everybody. Hail. There's no way I could have said it like that. I would have gone, this bullshit's bullshit. But it's this might be a controversial statement, but what the hell? Dr. Martin Luther King. There's rumors that he might not have been faithful. I don't know. I wasn't there. Does that change his message? No, it doesn't change his message. A message can outlive the man or woman. We're as you said earlier, we're complicated beings. We are not perfect in any way, shape, or form, though we strive for it. Progress, not perfection, is good. This was just a cheap way for Kate Mulgrew to get some headlines. She needs some attention for her whatever she was pushing, and for her to disrespect and bite the hand that feeds her. She, in the same interview, she praises him, but you absolutely, for one, the guy's dead. All right, show some respect for him. Yeah, he wasn't perfect, but maybe some things are just best left unsaid. But maybe the current regime at Star Trek is okay with this stuff, and maybe they, I don't know, asked her to talk about it a little bit. Maybe.
Was her audition for Picard?
Yeah, it's amazing how she doesn't show up in Picard. And maybe she's trying to get, yeah, exactly. Maybe it took me a second to get there. That maybe was her audition for Picard. Yes, I believe so. With the current regime, that maybe that's how it will play out, because we know that Star Trek Discovery is female centric. That's what they said. And you put it like, yes, misogyny is hate and what I'm seeing is a lot of hate in this overcorrection, a lot of resentment, and that is Hollywood working out their own dirty laundry out in the narrative, out in public. The world is not Hollywood, okay? And there's certainly that stuff around. Not saying it doesn't exist at all. I'm just saying that I don't know how this helps us get together in any way. It also, what it does is it just divides us more. Of course, you still need to talk about it, but not in this way. What has this got to do with anything she was pushing? Except the access media asked these questions to create these headlines. And again, they don't give a shit about your cause. They just give a shit about their bottom line, and they're just trying to stir it up. And the access media is a dinosaur at this point, and are desperate to do stuff like this. And I'm not trying to defend Kate Mulgrew. She says something stupid. But she's an actress. Okay. And that's and quite frankly, there are some smart people who work in Hollywood. A lot of them are involved with the Orville, and the Expanse, but there's some dumbasses too. And this is a dumb statement. Could you imagine somebody come out and saying that about George Lucas? I mean, and I'm sure at some point, George was a male in his past, and somebody will call that misogynist, and they're what you just said. They're confusing the times with hating females. I don't have
it. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have any friends who hate women. I don't hate what I wouldn't be married to one if I hated them. I have sisters. I listen, it's stupid. They're hypocrites. That's right. Ultimate fracking hypocrites. That's all they are. And this crap is so tired from Hollywood. I mean, this is why the fandom menace exists. We're just tired of this bullshit, this divisive bullshit. You're just trying to stir it up. There's no context to this, whatever. How she knew him, but did she know him in the 60s? Was she with him all the time, or was he just a boss to her? When did he die? I forgot when he died. Like,
it was late
90s, mid 90s,
late 90s.
Yeah. Like, how long was he alive during her tenure? I mean, I don't, it's disappointing, and but not surprising.
No, it's an argument ad hominem. I mean, essentially, it is denigrating the message or the work by attacking the source. So Gene Roddenberry was not a perfect man. He was sleeping with Nichelle Nichols. He was sleeping around with Majel Barrett as he was married. He was kind of a swinger too. I mean, they'd have naked pool parties and stuff. I mean, he was he liked women. He liked a lot of women. He loved women repeatedly.
Yes.
But I have to say that, to attack someone for not living up to their ideals is ridiculous, because that's why they're ideals, so that we aspire to them. Mostly we don't live up to our ideals. That's why they're ideals.
Yep.
Unless we are perfect, we are not living up to our ideals, but it's important that we have them. And when we go ahead and espouse them in our work, in our messaging, in our lives, setting forth as good a message as we can, to say that message is somehow bogus or compromised simply because we are imperfect and don't live up to our ideals is just asinine. It is the cheapest kind of argument, and it is a logical fallacy to have an argument ad hominem. It just that invalidates your argument immediately. It's a logical fallacy. It's well recognized.
Yep. And overusing the word misogynist, like does, for the true movement that's out there, for the real women who are abused and stuff, it disrespects them too. Cause you're just fluent, that word loses its meaning. And when they get misused so much. And I have to remind that there's a fact here that so many people don't notice, that when a man cheats on his partner with another woman, there's another woman involved. I mean, the man can't, well, they might cheat with themselves. I guess you could. That's kind of weird, but there's women involved. See, we're all fallible creatures. And to just forget that fact, I always see that brought up. There's bad fathers, there's bad moms, there's good fathers, there's good moms. But we're starting to get this narrative from Hollywood that one can do no wrong and one is just evil all the time. Any mass generality like that is extremism, and it's evil in my eyes. So,
well said.
All right. So you well said, my friend. Again, check out his video if you haven't. I'm sure you all have, though. I like when a Doomcock video drops, I watch it immediately. There's a few YouTubers out there that I like a lot, and I'm like always, my by the way, I get all your notifications, so that's good.
Oh, that's good.
I'm getting everybody's notifications now. It seems like they kind of work that out.
Interesting.
I'm getting them
good
on the spot, so that's a good thing.
Weird.
Yeah. Hey, wow. Right. Let's get to
strange.
It's very strange. Let's get to let's go for another few minutes here. And then we can let you sleep. But I want to get to, there's a couple, I got to remember where I left off. You guys are brilliant, by the way. Thank you so much. I do apologize, but I have to have time is kind of tight right now. I'm taking off in 2 days, and I have to pack and figure out things. Because I'm bringing, so if you come out, again, the whole family's coming. So I'm not worried about Dreckies at all, by the way. I'm not, Jeremy and I just walked around Comic-Con freely. We didn't experience anything negative. Nobody flipped us the bird. No, I only got one dirty look, and it was from Zoe Quinn. So that's to be expected. Yes, really? I ran into Zoe Quinn in front of Comic-Con. I was looking at my phone, and I damn near bumped into her. Looked up, she sneered at me, and it might have been just because I almost bumped into her. I was in her personal space or whatever, and because I was male or something. I don't know. I don't know if I doubt she knew who I was, but I knew who she was. Gosh darn it. Criminal Imagination. Where was I? Cracklin. Hi, Cracklin. John Teenet.
Cracklin Rosig.
Here we go. We got it. Okay. The only change the hero, they only change the hero, not the villain, says Nova Roma for $1.99. These days, yes, the villains though are getting to be. I like my villains complicated and with motivation, but yes. I also like them evil, and it seems like villains are going to start turning into like Doctor Who is going to be fighting circumstances. The Doctor is going to be fighting circumstances, and that's what we're going to see, like this freaking postmodern nihilist, like climate change. The Doctor versus climate change.
Oh, goody. I'm so glad. They won't even personify it in the smog monster like for Godzilla. They'll go ahead and just have it be, talking to industrialists or something. I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would be a white male villain for sure. like guaranteed.
Oh, of course. Of course. How does it feel to join me in being the most toxic of all things, a white male? Isn't it great?
It's
So
so
toxic.
much fun and
I love it.
toxic. I love it too. Hekate's daughter for $1.99 says, "This is why I love my liege Doomcock. His mind." There you go. They love you for your mind.
Oh, Hecate's daughter is one of my legionnaires, and Hecate's daughter, I'm really, really hoping to get to talk to you in the next day or so. I know that you couldn't make it in, you couldn't accept the invitation the last time. I'm doing a couple of things on Patreon, Gary, Monday and Tuesday, but listen, touch base with me, DM me on Twitter. I'll be looking for your messages. I just want to make sure to help you. Whatever we need to do to get you in there, I'm ready to do it. So we'll make it happen, sweetheart. Thank you.
It's nice to hear stuff like that. It does. It makes it all worthwhile. Here, I am looking up your Patreon so I can link it.
I just felt so bad for her,
Yeah.
She tried 4 times to click on the link, and for some reason it wouldn't work for her. And I just, oh man. So yeah, we got to make that happen.
Definitely. And I just linked Doomcock's Patreon in the chat. Check it out. He very attentive on his Patreon. Very, very good. Very good. I'm
As best as I can. I fall behind and I hate it when I do. I'm so sorry. I've been struggling to catch up here the last couple of days, but once I get on top of it this time, God damn it, I'm going to stay on top of it. I love you guys. My apologies for that.
Yeah. I've talked to other YouTubers and myself, and we try our very best to get to this stuff. And sometimes it's none of us are practiced in this. We're new. We're getting better at it, but I'm not. I'll speak for myself. Like this, like a lot of stuff happened fast, and I was not ready for it at all. But I'm getting there, and it's great. It's a lot of fun, so it's worth it. It's worth some of the sleepless nights that I have, and we also have real life. Sometimes that gets in the way.
Yes.
But yeah. George
Yes.
B. Pryor, Australian $10. It's okay to. I already read that, but oh no, I didn't. Okay, yeah, I've read that one. Sorry. Thank you, George B. Pryor. I'm sorry. My apologies. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Criminal Imagination, a Canadian $10. Can't spell. Yes, you can't spell that without men. You can't. That's just she's just mad she can't get with hunks like Hemsworth. And with the great irony, she cries that her ideas fail real quick while people still buy toxicity pro sex. So Criminal Imagination. I'm sorry I couldn't read all of that. It's somewhat of a family show, even though I dropped the F-bomb. But you're listen, you're right. I'm not arguing with you. And he's talking about the article, the Pale Male article. Right. And yeah, that's an individual issue. And I mentioned that in the video that's not an all women thing. That is her. That is KT Roberts. Daddy didn't give her enough hugs, or too many, I don't know. And that's, yeah, her play, didn't take off. She wrote one play and it didn't become the biggest thing in the world. And her parents probably told her it would. And now she has to deal with it and has to change the entire MCU because I don't even understand how you could be a misandrous and like superheroes or like the MCU. It just sounds like you want to attach yourself to something for an agenda. That's what it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I agree. Silent Poet for $75 for $2. We need to wear Alf costumes to see cats. I got it.
And charge the stage. If you're not going to charge Area 51, charge the cat stage. Dress like Alf. Why not? At least it won't get you shot. Might get you arrested, but I mean misdemeanor.
Storm Cats. Adam Child, $4.99. Do y'all see my tweet I sent both of you? It's about SJW's mad at Disney for not making Mulan black. Also, the Disney Mulan will be a trans what? A trans
Mulan
woman?
Black. Oh yeah, right. That's historically very accurate.
Yeah, they probably will, Adam, at some point. Yeah, they race swapped a couple of Eternals characters, and they were very weird race because it wasn't from white. It was a Japanese to Indian, or Asian to Indian. Although that's technically Asian, but John Tnet, Hong Kong, $100 because MBS needs to fund Neom. Disney needs to stay profitable because what's MBS needs to fund Neom. Explain to what that is, John. I'm missing it. I'm a simple man.
MBS needs to fund what? Neom?
Neom, Neom.
I'm a little puzzled by that one.
Yeah, sometimes you guys got to abbreviate. I understand, but sometimes I completely miss them. Sorry. But if somebody in the chat knows what that is, please let me know. Thank you. Oh, John Tinet's right there. Right, John Tinet's right there. Neom is a pet project in Saudi Arabia. They need to fund Neom. They need to fund some of the stuff. And yeah, so they do business in Saudi Arabia. Disney does, but they don't want to do business in Georgia. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm not seeing consistency there.
Yeah, that's weird. So Georgia is less good with women's rights than the Arab Emirate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, women can drive now. Very progressive. Very progressive.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's something.
Isn't there one country where they have to walk a certain distance behind their husbands?
Yeah, well, I think that the places where like Dubai and stuff where tourists go, it's quite liberalized. But I mean, there's other corners, of course, that are not.
Mrs. Nerdrotic almost went to Dubai to work for 6 months. They needed a hair colorist out there, and they're willing to pay like extravagant money. But glad she said no. I wasn't down with that. But she could have gone if she wanted to. I mean, I'm not the boss.
That would have been bad.
But it would have been bad. I'm glad she said no.
Jesus, then she might have found that I had moved in.
Yeah.
Like for 6 months. It had been like The Odd Couple, and there's pizza boxes everywhere and empty, beer bottles and stuff like that, and porn everywhere. It'd just be a wonderful time.
You'd definitely be the Oscar.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. Yeah. I'm the Oscar. There's no question about it. I'm the Oscar, but you'd be kind of Felix,
Yeah,
you'd be picking up and stuff.
But
I'd be like looking up from the. Yeah, I'd be looking up from the couch in my underwear, and I'd say, "Leave the porn, Felix. Don't touch the porn."
You just have Pornhub up on the. On the 60-inch 4K. 4K is not good for porn.
I've never seen Pornhub on a 60-inch. Wow.
I wonder how it translates. I wonder if they have 4K. I bet you there's people in the chat who know.
They don't. They won't have 4K. Nah.
Thanks for clarifying, John Tnet, by the way. You the man.
Yes.
Love John Tnet.
He's a great guy.
Also, hope you got my Orville video I made, says Adam Child. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Keep those coming. That's going to be a lot of fun to work on. I let Tom Constantino know I was working on that. That was such a good dude. That guy, he's like a real human being, He is. They exist.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I've actually had some interchanges with him, exchanges. Great guy.
Yeah.
Really like him.
JP Katrogkits for $5. A female doctor was a great idea. Making it an SJW moralistic soapbox was what killed it. I still don't think it was a great idea, but I could have been won over with good storytelling, possibly. I'm not gonna say that isn't out of the realm of possibility, but that's the biggest problem. It wasn't really the female doctor, it was the politics on top of it, but I knew that's what they were going to do. That's why I was so against it. I'm like, they're not just going to do this and then have like a basic David Tennant type adventure. They were going to fill it to the brim with agenda, and that's exactly what they did. So we'll never know. But they can't. I don't know. They could have just made their own female Time Lord and done their own show, but it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked because they wouldn't have backed it, you know? So there you go. Michael Deich for $5. Our beloved franchises used to make us think. Now these hectoring jackasses try to tell us what to think. Burn it down, start over. I'm kind of with you on that one. I'm kind of done. I see, you know, comics has been doing it, making their own stuff. People are going to start making their own shows. Crowdfunding makes this all possible now, so you don't have to deal with Hollywood douchebag producers anymore. My God, if you could get rid of that, art would be so much better. It would be more experimental. Of course, you'd have the budget restraints, but that actually breeds so much creativity.
It does. It does.
I mean, that's all Doctor Who was. That's why it existed. It's trying to work in with the, like, you know, $100,000 episode, or probably not. I don't know. I just, or 100,000 pounds. It made it so, you know, I love to bring up, I haven't opened, I just got it. The Matrix was on a budget. They all worked together. They were all in like one studio. It wasn't like mass catering or anything. And they get this like damn near perfect movie. Right. And then when they got all the money for the sequels, that's when it fell apart. I thought it was a best example of how, you know, having a you know, it's the first Spider-Man movie. It's not perfect, but it was on a very strict, I think it was $70 million budget. And it worked. It worked. Canadian Highlander with a Raiders avatar. You know, there would have been a time I wouldn't even have talked to you with that. But since the Chargers and the NFL are dead to me, I don't care. You know, I don't. Sure. Canadian $5. Hail Gary and Doomcock found you two after searching for therapy after season 8 of Game of Thrones. D&D are hacks. Hands off Lord of the Rings. Keep up the good fight, you two. Well, thank you, my friend. Even with your, you know what? I can't believe I'm going to say this. Go Raiders. You hear that? Go Raiders. Right. I hope they beat the crap out of the Chargers. I don't even care.
I'll second that. Yeah.
To see right here. These are the San Diego Superchargers are no more in the NFL. Without respect, we reject. I don't.
Exactly.
Don't give anything to the NFL. Not even my time. Hail Nerdcock and Doom Roddick from Cracklin for $1.99. Okay, we're gonna do one more super chat. I am so sorry. We're gonna have to cut this one off. You have my promise. Tomorrow's Nooner will start off where we left off here, and I will also be reading letters. We'll have Toxic Mailbag next tomorrow, and we'll talk about the Star Trek convention. We'll see if I think Kate Mulgrew is going to be there. Maybe I should
send her love from Doomcock, will you?
I should. Oh, that'd be great. Getting an autograph and go, by the way, could you write that? I love Doomcock. Maybe I should do that. Oh, see, hey, they got to sign it. I paid for it. God. Oh, dude. So Shatner is charging up the wazoo for autographs, but it's worth every penny because it's fucking Shatner. And I actually think it's worth it, to be honest with you. I think $100 it's Shatner. He's 80. Great. So I got one for me, and then I got one for Mrs. Nerdrotic on the bridge of the Enterprise. She's going to be getting a picture with Shatner. And
sweet.
Yes. She said she might try to make out with him though. I said, I'll let it go this once. It's Shatner. I get to fight him afterwards, though. Get the karate chop on the shoulders.
Yes. Does the flying kick, the double flying kick.
I'll bring some Alexander Courage in the background. Yeah. Criminal Imagination. This will be the last one. Canadian $50. Thank you. There's nothing criminal about you, and if there is, well, I'll help you hide the evidence, my friend. Everything these cretins try to do, anime has done it already. That's kind of true. All female shows, men who aren't always portrayed as horny or jacked. In fact, women end up the horny ones a lot. Well, because in real life, they are. Sorry. How it stands above is the humor and drama. NPCs know it and they hate it. They do. They hate genuine romance,
Yes.
which is dead. God, it's dead. Oh, I hate that. It's not like I'm into rom-coms or anything, but is it not one of the single most important things at comic books and comic book storytelling is romance?
Absolutely. I mean, even as a kid, the love triangle between Tony Stark and Pepper Potts and Happy Hogan and Matt Murdock and oh God, maybe I jumped them. I got them confused. There was always a love triangle. Always.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
And and it was vital. And I tell you, I think. I don't know. I'm a toxic male. I believe in romance. I believe in heterosexual attraction, and I think women still respond to that. I think there are women in the world that still yearn for old-fashioned toxic males and romance with us. So there is hope in the world.
Hang on just a second. Are you guys? I guess you guys are still seeing us. That's weird because it's saying we are not receiving the video stream. Start your hangout on the air monitor here. That's weird, but you guys are seeing us. We're on. That's odd.
I guess. I mean, I see you.
You're still on. Yeah. It says we're live.
It says live.
I'm just going to show you what it says right here. Isn't that weird? I was like, hey, right at the end. I was like, have we been going on and like nobody can see us, but they can see us.
Nobody can. It's all wasted.
I can see you. There is no life in the void. Sorry. Been watching way too much Lord of the Rings. Doomcock, please plug your wonderful channels.
Thank you, my friend. I have youtube.com/Overlord DVD. The DVD stands for Dictor Van Doomcock. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Doomcock. I have also a subscribestar.com/Doomcock. And of course, not to leave Harvey out, we have youtube.com/The Harvey Zone, which is where live streams and exozones live. And also Zazzle.com/DVD Choporama. Thank you, Gary.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for coming on and doing this show with me. I love the Inquisition. This is our 8th episode, and we're going to do many more. So
yes,
and this was spawned from us doing Game of Thrones live reviews. So this will turn into a review show again when some shows come back that we're going to cover, like Watchmen, and which is, by the way, we did get confirmation that it is a sequel to the comic books.
Oh God.
So I know a lot of people have read, it's one of the best-selling graphic novels of all time, but it's still like, that's not the most. So most people are going to be seeing a sequel to something they haven't seen. And they're going to think it's the movie, and they're going to be really confused. And it looks like trash. I did a video on it. It's utter. Ugh. And then of course there'll be Batwoman. So check out my Patreon. It's patreon.com/nerdrotic. I will be fixing the tiers in the next 48 hours. I know I said that last week, but I'm actually fixing them. And thank you to everybody who signs up. It's just basically support. I do a live stream. When I get back in the groove a little bit, there's a daily live stream every morning about 8:30 where I go over like what I'm going to make a video on and stuff. And there'll be other things, including you will be able to have a segment on my Friday show, on my Friday Night Tights. You can pick a segment, come on, debate me or whatever you want to talk about. And there's also plugging. There'll be plugging stuff and all kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, so there's a meetup next Friday. Details are, everything's at nerdrotic.com. That's my website. If anything ever happens to this channel, that's where you go. I also have an alternate channel, Nerdrotic Live, where I did post a live video today. John Barrowman had pitched a Torchwood Doctor Who movie to Russell T Davies, starring David Tennant and Billy Piper, which I would love if they didn't make it this year.
Right.
Yeah. But I did a video on that. So everybody, please don't forget to subscribe to Doomcock. and I'm sure you'll be making some videos this week. We will be back next Sunday on his channel. I will be in Vegas, but doesn't change it. The Inquisition must happen. So it doesn't matter where I am or where he is. I will be there at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Doomcock's channel. And Thursday we have no Exozone, but then the following week on Thursday, it's on Harvey's channel. We have an Exozone.
Awesome.
So everybody have a great night, and be good to each other, and don't take any shit. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.